And crack cocaine kills. Dial no crack.
Find out why Carl gets sued Monday at 4 on Gimme a Break.
Great moments come alive on NBC Sports. With a blend of tradition and the latest in television technology, we're building tomorrow's memories today, right here on NBC.
Today on NBC, Jim Rice brings a red-hot bat into Yankee Stadium as the Eastern Division leading Boston Red Sox take on all-star performer Don Mattingly and the New York Yankees. Or some of you will see budding superstar Eric Davis and the Cincinnati Reds battle the Los Angeles Dodgers and Steve Sax, who is in hot pursuit of the National League batting title. But first, NBC Sports presents Major League Baseball. An inside look brought to you by Nestle Crunch. Chocolate is crunches. When it crunches, that's why you love Nestle Crunch. And by the Kellogg Company, maker of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Tony's Flakes of Corn with a sweet frosting. Big crowd, more than 50,000 here at Yankee Stadium. This the result of an enormous advance sale with the expectation that this would be a crucial series for the Yankees and the Red Sox. But Boston has pulled away, and they are looking to add to their lead today. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, and welcome to the start of our baseball day here on NBC. Now, there are still 4 division races alive, but all 4 have been wipeouts. The Mets could have clinched last night in Philadelphia, but it looked more like the 62 Mets as they committed 4 errors. White Gooden getting little help. Von Hayes with a base hit, misplayed by Mookie Wilson. One of 3 Met errors in the third. Hayes making it around to third base to help open things up. A moment later, Mike Schmidt's grounder booted by Ray Knight. Hayes scored. Phillies lead it by the score of 2-0. In the 5th inning, it was Schmidt with 2 men on, and he puts it out. Dead center field is 35th of the year, leads the majors in home runs. The Phillies in front 5-0. They held on to win 6-3, so the Mets will try again tonight at Veterans Stadium in Philly. In Houston, the National League West leading Astros stayed 9 up on the Reds as Billy Hatcher's 2-run single in the ninth broke a 3-3 tie. The Astros over the Padres 5-3. The 23rd time the Astros have won in their last at-bat. In the American League West, it was Harold Baines of the White Sox coming through with this single over a drawn-in infield in the bottom of the 10th. Darryl Boston able to score. White Sox beat the Angels 3-2 in 10. The Angels now 9 games in front of the Texas Rangers. And here at Yankee Stadium, it was an unhappy Lou Piniella watching Bill Buckner. And Buckner connected for a second home run of the game. His 5th the last 3 games as the Red Sox beat the Yankees 7-2. So the Red Sox are 10 over Toronto, 11 in front of the Yankees. And a major factor in the Red Sox stretch run has been the pitching of future Hall of Famer Tom Seaver, who began his career with the Mets back in 1967. He was there for the pennants of 69 and 73. He went on to win the Cy Young Award 3 times. Tom Seaver won his 300th career game here at Yankee Stadium a year ago as a member of the White Sox. Now he's a Boston Red Sox and will be facing the Yankees here today. Now, Tom, it could have been Tom Seaver pitching for the Yankees today against the Red Sox, although things have worked out very well for you in Boston. At the time, how disappointing was it not coming here?
There was a lot of talk, of course, either coming here or going to Boston, and I'm very happy to be working for John McNamara and the Red Sox in this ball club. Certainly, we're playing extremely well. After playing for John McNamara in Cincinnati and Bill Fisher, the pitching coach, they're terrific guys to work for, and I couldn't be happier.
Now, when Boston players were asked about the failures of this ball club in past years, well, they'd say, hey, it's not the same guys, not the same club. But knowing how superstitious baseball players are, had this club not played well, do you think that would have come into being a factor?
Well, I think the press is more superstitious than the ball players. I think a lot of this about the Red Sox folding and et cetera is more a press reaction to the press, and I think specifically out of the Boston press. Historically, I don't think the players of the ball club really care much one way or the other what the press says about what has happened in the past. This is a very good club as far as the focus that they have and what their objectives are and what they want to do.
How does this pennant race with the Red Sox compare to what you went through with the Mets in your younger days?
Well, I mean, when I went through with the Mets, I was very young, obviously. I was only in my 3rd year in the big leagues. Here, I'm in my 20th year. So I think it's much easier to maintain a focus as a veteran player. And with the veteran players that we do have, Baylor and Buckner, Rice and Evans, everybody, I think it's something that the entire ball club has that kind of feeling.
Tom, if it does evolve as a Red Sox Met World Series, the scenario, Tom Seaver pitching at Shea, fill in the blanks. Well, what happens from there?
You know, I get asked that, obviously. I think that's another reaction, press reaction to the press. As far as I'm concerned, this ball club has a focus on the game today. And we have work to do today, and we're going to play the Yankees tomorrow. And I think maybe it makes good press, it'll make a good story, but as far as I'm concerned, and my approach to my business is that I have to work with my job today, and I have to get it done today.
Are you saying that there's no special meeting, or you want to play it?
I'm saying that we cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now, as far as I'm concerned, the focus that I have is on the Red Sox and what Tom Seaver has to do today on Saturday afternoon in Yankee Stadium.
But you would not mind facing the Mets in the World Series?
Well, I wouldn't mind facing anybody in the World Series, but we have work to do before we get there.
What's going through your mind right now as you look to face the Yankees at the stadium?
A little scouting report for myself and making sure, just reminding myself of things that I want to do, have to do against certain hitters.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Upcoming man I know that you're looking forward to facing, a fellow by the name of Don Mattingly.
Well, we just try and keep him in the ballpark. I know when I won 300th, my 300th there, he got a couple hits in that ball game, and one of the outstanding hitters in the game, for sure.
All right, we'll be chatting with Don Mattingly right after these words.
Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
Milk chocolate, so creamy, blending crispies, so dreamy. Gotta have it, it's so scrumptious. Love that chocolate when it crunches. Chocolate is scrumptious when it crunches. That's why I love Nestle Crunch.
Oh! Just like that, this AC copper core spark plug can fire 30 times. That's the firepower today's high-revving car engines need. What about your plugs? If they can't fire for up to 30,000 miles, oh! Maybe you're missing out on peak performance. For the AC Delco retailer nearest you, just give me a call at 1-800-AC Delco. Wait for trouble, and you've got it.
I have 3 grown children, one of them married, and I love Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Brave adults continue to challenge the notion that Frosted Flakes is just a kid cereal.
Suppose my parents eat them. What if the kids at school found out?
Because you love them as a kid doesn't mean you can't love them as an adult.
With Dr. Coleman's help, we all can now admit we eat them, can't we?
With that extra crunch in milk, that frosting just right, that taste as good as ever.
Frosted Flakes good? They're great! So dig in. They've got the taste adults have grown to love.
2 weeks ago, a Sporting News cover story proclaimed Yankee first baseman Don Mattingly as the best player in baseball. And you can certainly make an argument for that point of view. He won the batting title 2 years ago. He's presently making a move on Wade Boggs with an average of .346, only 4 points behind. In the field, Don has been a Gold Glove first baseman, and Don even put in a couple of Gold Glove performances at third base in a pinch several weeks ago. Don, any advice for all those left-handed youngsters out there who are looking to play third base?
Well, third's a tough position for anybody to play, but left-handed makes it especially tough. The throws across the diamond are a wear on your shoulder. 2 days after I played third, I couldn't hardly pick the ball up and throw it across the infield, so it's a tough place to play.
How frustrating has this season been for you? Aside from personal stats, it's been another chaotic year for the Yankees.
Well, it has, and you know, every year is a little difficult here when you're playing in the stadium and everything. But it's been frustrating because we've never put things together this year. You know, everybody's talked about our pitching all year long, but we haven't got the hitting that we have in the past. We haven't been consistent on defense, and it seems like when we get the good pitching, our defense isn't there, and when we're playing. Or our hitting isn't there, and when we're hitting the ball and scoring runs, it seems like the other team's scoring more. So we've never put any kind of streak together this year, and it's hurt us.
Is Lou Piniella being dealt with fairly by George Steinbrenner? Suddenly there are hints of dissatisfaction. How do you react to all that?
Well, that's a tough situation for me, just because of the fact that I feel like Lou did a good job, and I was thinking about that the other day. I just read bits and pieces here and there. I haven't really tried to keep up with anything along the lines, but to me, Lewis did an outstanding job. He can't go on the field for us. I mean, he can't pitch and he can't hit. He can't make the plays on defense. I can't believe that Lou's lost any games for us. You know, if I feel very close to Lou. Lou's helped me so much, but if I didn't like Lou, I would still think that he did a good job. He's a very aggressive guy, and I think he's got the most out of us, but we just haven't did the job for him.
Can it ever be a calm situation here at Yankee Stadium?
I don't think so. I mean, it can be calmer at times than others, but you have to learn to be able to play with this type of atmosphere. I mean, it's a tough place to play, aside from the owner. I mean, the media, the fans, you know, just a constant you need to win situation. It's a tough place to play, but if you can learn to play with it and like it, it's a fun place to play.
Do you see yourself remaining as a Yankee when free agent time comes around?
Well, I hope so. I think free agent basically is gone anyway, it looks like. But, you know, I enjoy it here, and if I didn't enjoy it here, then maybe things would change. But at the present time, I like it here. I don't have any problems here. I seem to be able to deal with things okay, and to me, it's a place that pushes you a little bit, makes you be a better player, constantly never lets you let down. Always expecting more from you.
All right, despite the ever-present turmoil here at Yankee Stadium, Don Mattingly somehow remains consistent and remains as one of the outstanding players in the game. We'll be back right after this.
New confidence. New Confidence Sure. Curved comfort. Curved comfortable Sure. Wide solid. New wide solid Sure. Curved. Dry. Confident. Sure. New Sure wide solid. One more solid way to feel sure.
Fixing this water damage will cost $1,200. Could I have prevented it?
You could with Thompson's Water Seal.
This water damage is going to run $750. What would have stopped it?
Prevent water damage with Thompson's Water Seal. Simply brush Thompson's on wood, brick, or concrete, and it penetrates to form a barrier water can't get past, even when driven by 98-mile-per-hour winds.
This time, I'm going to protect my new deck with Thompson's Water Seal. A great defense against repair expense.
Presenting the NFL '86 team. Ahmad Rashad with interviews and features. Frank DeFord, commentary and essays. Paul McGuire with predictions and analysis. And our host, Bob Costas. NFL '86, it takes a colorful team to cover a colorful sport.
I propose that in the future, March 28th should be made a national day of mourning for all Yankees fans, because that was the day that George Steinbrenner traded Don Baylor to the Red Sox, thereby ripping the heart out of the Yankees and handing the American League East championship to the Red Sox and possibly the World Series. Who knows? Thanks, George.
Susan lashing out at George. Well, there are 3 games going this afternoon, all 3 in the American League. A check of the scoreboard in the 7th inning. Detroit leads Baltimore 2-1. In the 5th, Cleveland over Oakland 6-4. Texas beat Minnesota 14-1. Bert Blyleven gave up 5 home runs. That's 44 on the season, and that is a new American League record. Incidentally, yesterday the Twins fired manager Ray Miller with third base coach Tom Kelly taking over on an interim basis. Under Miller, the Twins, despite all that home run power, were 59-80 last in the American League West. Certainly had its ups and downs, and here at Yankee Stadium, we're getting ready for the Yankees and the Red Sox. Tom Seaver will go against Dennis Rasmussen. Some of you will see the Dodgers and the Reds from Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. That about wraps things up. I'm Marv Albert. Baseball just ahead here on NBC Sports.
A great new television show.
I may not always believe in the client, but I have to believe in the system.
A 2-hour movie preview of L.A. Law Monday.
Hot. It's Dance Fever, America's hottest dance show.
Hot.
With a sizzling host, television star Adrian Zemed.
Hot.
Dance Fever, where each week couples from around the world compete for a chance at more than $50,000 in cash and prizes.
Hot.
The Red Hot Dancers Motion. Take it to the limit for the most scorching half hour on television.
Dance Fever is hot.
Tonight at 7, followed by the Michigan Super Lotto Drawing, right here on Channel 4.
When my big guy wanted something special, I said, sweetheart, I've got just the recipe. Shrimp, scallops, 3 pastas. Enough garlic, honey?
Perfect.
And, of course, our favorite beer, Natural Light. The beer with the taste for food. Another natural, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Waiter?
Yeah, all natural, less filling. It's Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch.
Allow me, darling. What's a smart woman make for dinner? Reservations. Where are we going tomorrow night, honey?
Archie gets an offer he can't refuse Monday morning at 9:30.
Since 1931, the Baseball Writers Association of America balloted and named the most valuable player in each major league. In the American League in 1986, several are gathered at Yankee Stadium today. Pitcher Roger Clemens, 22-game winner from the University of Texas. The home run hitting power of the Red Sox for 12 years, Jim Rice. Don Mattingly, the smooth swinging first baseman, last year's most valuable player of the Yankees. Don Baylor, who wore the pinstripes of New York, the flannels of California, and now the heart and soul of the Red Sox. And the batting champion, Wade Boggs, looking for yet another honor. They're gathered under blue skies at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, the Red Sox and the Yankees.
The National Broadcasting Company, now in its 6th decade of bringing you baseball's memories. Baseball's milestones. Baseball's majesty. And baseball's magical moments. NBC Sports proudly presents the Major League Baseball Game of the Week. Today from Yankee Stadium, it's the Boston Red Sox versus the New York Yankees. The Game of the Week is brought to you by Miller High Life. Miller made the American way since 1855. By Sears. Come celebrate Sears' new century. See all the ways we've changed and all the ways we haven't. By Schick. When the beard is back, you've got to get Schick. And by Yugo. Everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Joe Garagiola. Welcome to Yankee Stadium in New York. More like an area it is, with a gathering of Eagles here late in the fall. The Red Sox leading the Yankees by 11 with only 21 games left, and it would appear that even the most optimistic pinstriper has realized the year is over. But even though the season might be ending, even though fall is in the air, and even though the leaves are beginning to turn, as usual, Yankee Stadium will be full of people and full of questions. And perhaps to get the answer to some of those questions, let's go to Joe.
Okay, then, we have the man who'll give us the answers, George Steinbrenner. George, what about Piniella? Will he be fired? Will he stay? What is the situation?
How come I didn't get one of those emblems like you got? See, I had to wear this one.
Don't change the subject, George.
Oh, okay.
What about Piniella?
Well, you know, I don't know what it is, Joe. Every year, I'm supposed to make answers on my manager before the year is over. I make a change during the season, they're all after me. I don't make a change during the season, they want to know why not. So haven't done anything on Lou Piniella. Lou's going. He's managing on his own. I've made no statements. An article came out last week that started it all. Evidently, Howard Cosell on one of his radio broadcasts said that if I wanted to, I could probably put together a list of 13 games that Lou has cost us. I don't know anything about it. A writer in New Jersey took it and said George Steinbrenner has a list of 13 games. I have no list. I have nothing to say at all on it. He's managing. We're going to go through the rest of the season. We're going to try to make a run at these fellas, and then Lou and I will sit down and talk.
What about the turmoil that always seems to surround the club?
Well, you know,
the turmoil.
Well, no. Turmoil is with every baseball team. They have it in San Diego. They have it in the Middle West. They have it everywhere. That's part of the game. And, you know, I have to laugh when guys say, well, it's a strain and it's turmoil to play baseball on the Yankees. Or for $400,000 a year average salary or for $1.6 million like our top player makes, they can take a little turmoil. Let them go out and drive a cab in New York if they want some real turmoil.
Is that your attitude towards the modern-day player?
I think the modern-day player is different than the player that played in your days. Joe, today, when they come to the ballpark, they don't just come with their glove, the bat, and the ball. They bring their briefcase and their agent right behind them. The game has changed. It's a different deal. And you've got to expect more of these players, and you've got to be a little tougher on them. They don't play as much for the love of the game. Some the love of the game, but just as much for the love of the almighty dollar today. And when you pay $1.6 million, you have a right, and so do your fans, to expect top performance every game.
George, if possible, a yes or no answer to this. Can we expect a lot of changes on the Yankee teams for next year?
I think there are going to be some changes, yes, Joe. I think there are going to be quite a few changes.
You got to learn to speak out, George.
Yes, I know.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Like hardback.
Okay.
Cheering, and the whole world's watching, it's easy. But today, nobody in America's thinking about the next Olympics, except you. Days like this are when the character shows. Days like this are when Olympians are made the American way. Miller High Life is proud to sponsor the U.S. Olympic Training Centers, even when it's not an Olympic year, because this is when it counts.
Did you know how the government finds out how safe cars are? They crash them!
Did you know at 35 miles per hour, Yugo did better than Sprint, Hyundai, Audi 5000, and even a Cadillac?
Did you know Yugo makes driving safer?
Because it has front-wheel drive and steel-belted radial tires.
Did you know this safe, dependable car is only $39.90?
You can buy one by calling 1-800-USA-YUGO.
And you should, because everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
I don't need drugs. I believe in me and my ability. I don't want anything interfering with the way I play the game. Cocaine's no way to believe in yourself. Hey, it can kill you. If you're into cocaine, get off it. You're living a lie. Get off it while you still have a life.
Cocaine, the big lie. Call 1-800-662-HELP. Furnished by Major League Baseball in cooperation with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Boston Red Sox into Yankee Stadium, having won last night. They've won 12 out of 13. Wade Boggs at third, Marty Barrett at second, and Billy Bucks at first. Jim Rice in left, Don Baylor the DH, Dewey Evans in right field, Tony Armas in center, Mark Sullivan behind the plate, Spike Owen at short, and on the mound for the Yankees, Dennis Rasmussen.
There's a quick look at the defense. Pasqua, Henderson, and Winfield. Infield, Tollison doing a great job at shortstop. The rest you recognize. Skinner behind the plate.
Dennis Rasmussen with a record of 14-5, and he's 6-2 here at Yankee Stadium. He beat the Red Sox at Fenway, which is no mean trick for a left-hander. A strike to Wade Boggs. Boggs, the top hitter in the American League. He leads the league in batting average, in walks, and on-base percentage, and actually sacrificed last night in a key situation. They had him bunt for the 4th time this year. 1-1. Foul down the left field line, out of play. It is a magnificent day in New York. A bright blue sky, not a cloud up there. The sky and the city has been swept clean. There'll be a large crowd, over 40,000 here. It should be a dandy. 2-2.
That was interesting. The curveball, the slow curveball outside, all the fastballs inside. You just wonder if that's going to be his pattern the whole day.
2-2. fisted foul down the line out of play.
Looks like he's trying to take away his Boggs' ability to hit to the opposite field. They're playing him straight away, not too deep, especially in left field. And Rasmussen just keeping that fastball in on him, throwing the curveball out away from him where it should be.
Among the many interesting angles in this game today are the batting leaders. Ground ball to shortstop. Wayne Tollison, the 6th Yankee shortstop of the year, gets him one away. You know, when you look at the Yankees and the Red Sox and forget the standings for the moment, they are even in some areas in runs scored, maybe the bullpen, the defense. In fact, the Yankees might even have a slight edge. But when you get to starting pitching, there's an enormous difference. And when you start talking about quality starts in the starting pitching, why, the Red Sox are bigger than their lead as far as the Yankees are concerned. A strike to Marty Barrett. Marty has hit in 10 straight. 1 out, first inning, just the start of things. So pull up a chair and spend part of Saturday with us.
John McNamara calls Barrett the most underrated player in baseball. That's the kind of job he's done for him this year.
0-1 the count to Marty. 1 ball and 1 strike. You know, the Red Sox and John McNamara as the jockey are running a perfect race. They grabbed an early lead, got out to 4.5, and it has rarely shrunk more than that. A drive to left is Pasqua. Started in and has to backhand it. Lost it in that sun.
There's a high sky today. We may see some adventures.
You know, and talking about the perfect ride, the Red Sox, as you can see in the standings, they are sprinting now. At one stage, they had that 11-game streak. And among other reasons would be the pitching. You know, they're second in fewest walks and second in strikeouts. And that used to be, well, a very bad area for the Red Sox, but not anymore. And that's one reason why they are where they are. They've been in first place since the middle of May. And here's one of the hottest hitters in town. Billy Bucks has hit in 6 straight. And his numbers in his last 3 games are unbelievable. Hit to Mattingly. He'll bring it to the bag. He's had 5 home runs and 9 RBIs in his last 3 games, but not this time. And at the end of half an inning, no score.
Is this Howard Johnson?
Yes, sir. There's been a lot of changes. You might say we're turning the place upside down.
You know, a lot is changing at Howard Johnson. New rooms, new furnishings, and new attention to service. It's different. I like it.
1 second. I'm just straightening up.
No matter how you look at it,
This is Howard Johnson.
we're turning Howard Johnson upside down.
Just as proud as the people who are drinking it today. Miller's made the American way. Born and brewed in the USA. Just as proud as the people who are drinking it today.
Miller contains no additives or preservatives. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way. The beard is back. The beard is back. The beard is back. It's back again. I need to get. You better get. Gotta get shit.
When the beard is back, Schick Disposable is always ready for close, clean shaves. Shave after shave.
I need to get. You better get. Gotta get shit.
Mr. Goodwrench has the right tools available. Tools of the science of automotive service. Advanced, sensitive, accurate, strong and simple, or complex, like electronic eyes that probe the mysteries of your car. These are the tools that understand and fix. These are the tools of Mr. Goodwrench. And no one knows your GM car better. No one.
Here's the Yankee lineup. Ricky Henderson in center field, Don Mattingly at first, Dan Pasqua in left field, and Mike Easler the DH. Dave Winfield in right, Mike Pagliarulo and Willie Randolph, each bothered by a pulled hamstring, but they're back in the starting lineup today. Joel Skinner behind the plate, and Wayne Tollison will be batting 9th at short.
There's defense. Rice, Armisen, Evans in the outfield. We all know about Evans' arm, especially Boggs, Owens, Barrett, Buckner in the infield, Sullivan behind the plate. Little gamesmanship going on already. You see Henderson has just gotten into the batter's box. Seaver had to wait for him, and I mean really had to wait, and Henderson was looking into the stands while Seaver was kind of out there fuming a little bit.
Seaver is 7-11, no record this year, 2-1 lifetime with New York. And that's fouled, even though it squirted out in front of the plate. 0-1 the count. Henderson gets your attention immediately, doesn't he? Tying an American League record. He walks up and lets you have it.
It's one of those guys that gets your attention just like he did. I mean, I'm not saying that Seaver is that upset, but when you're ready to go, you're ready to go. And here he was looking in the stands, and Tom had to wait for him.
0-1 the count to Ricky. Bottom of the first inning, no score. Off speed, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Vin, that's a tough strike zone. Look how he crouches. I mean, that is a small strike zone.
And out of that little strike zone, 25 home runs. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's a tremendous 1-2 punch the Yankees have at the top of the order, with Henderson leading off, followed by Mattingly. 2-1. 2-2.
You have to be a pretty good ball player when you can bat lead off or fourth and do the job.
Look at those numbers. He has 20 home runs and more than 50 stolen bases for the 2nd straight year. Off speed, hit to third, and Boggs let the ball play him. And Henderson into second base easily. As soon as Wade Boggs backed up on the ground ball and played it sideways, he was bogged down.
He just got caught in between hops. You can watch him. He starts in and says, no, I played on this hop, and it's by him. And it's a big base that Henderson picks up, because now the ball hit to the right side. They got a man in scoring position in a hurry.
You know, it's interesting. Remember when they watered the infield, what you noted about that third base area?
It was puddles. There were puddles down there. It didn't look like it was smooth. They watered it. You could see the little puddle standing there, and Boggs had to pay the price.
So he's aptly named to play a damp area at third, and with Henderson at second and nobody out, Don Mattingly followed by Dan Pasqua. Now, Mattingly has hit in 12 straight. He's got over 200 hits for the 3rd straight year. That puts his name in the books, in the Yankee books, with Lou Gehrig. Strike, big slow jug.
I don't think I'm alone in feeling this way, but he's got to be, to me, the best player in the major leagues, Don Mattingly.
You know, I was wondering when he got over 200 hits and they talked about Gehrig, I wondered about who had the most hits in a regular year. And the number's staggering, and we're not talking about trick baseball either. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ty Cobb had 248 hits in one season. That doesn't count. Lefty O'Doul had 254. Bill Terry had 254.
Hey, Mr. George Sisler's got to be in there somewhere.
Can you imagine an 154-game season? Time called by Don Denkinger, the plate umpire.
That's a lot of bases.
It's incredible. I mean, you're not talking about expansion teams and AstroTurf and indoors and out. You're talking about 154 games.
They must have had 4 and 5 hit games every day in the last 2 weeks of the season.
I thought it was a misprint when I saw it. Gee, 1-1. Ball 2, 2-1. The Yankees and the Red Sox have a tremendous rivalry. They go together. And it is no mere happenstance that the last time the Yankees had a losing August, the Red Sox were in the World Series. That was 1975. Ground ball to first. Buckner will underhand to Seaver. Henderson goes to third. And also, the last time the Yankees were under 500 at home for a season was 1968. Again, the Red Sox were in the World Series. So the Yankees are troubled for the first time since 75 and 68, and each time smiling on the other side of the field, the Boston Red Sox. George Sisler, by the way, had 257 hits in 154 games.
I knew he was in there, and I'm going to tell you why I knew it. I did a banquet once where I had to introduce him. I had to multiply my best year of hits by 6, and I was 18 hits short.
Oh.
And I multiplied.
Well, here's Dan Pasqua trying to pick up Ricky Henderson from third. Bottom of the first inning, no score.
That's in a 154-game season.
Exactly. That's the point. I mean, it's overwhelming when you think of it. Pasqua, the hitter, bottom of the first. The Yankees have lost 5 straight at Yankee Stadium. Tom Seaver. Tommy Terrific. The remarkable Mr. Seaver. 311 big ones. He'll be 42 in November. Ball 1. 1 and 2 the count at Dan Pasqua. On deck, the DH Mike Easler.
We always talk about the telltale signs, how famous, as we look at Easler, how famous Seaver's dirty knee was, but not getting dirty today yet.
Fastball driven to deep right, and that one is gone.
A low line drive. There was no doubt about that one. You just wondered, was it high enough? It certainly was hit hard enough.
That's the 14th home run for Pasqua and the 17th allowed by Tom Seaver. But when you start talking about pitchers allowing home runs this year, don't even think about Seaver. You've got to talk about Bert Blyleven, and you will not believe what's going on with Blyleven. Big hook. Ball 1 to Mike Easler. Blyleven, pitching in Minnesota today against Texas, has just been decimated by the home run. There's a one-hopper. Good play by Wade Boggs to get him. How about this? The Texas Rangers have hit 7 home runs against Minnesota. That's a major league record, as Blyleven gave up 5 of the 7. Bert Blyleven has now given up, are you ready, 44 home runs. That's an American League record. Pedro Ramos had given up 43. The all-time record is a man who's in the Hall of Fame, Robin Roberts, with 46, 40 years ago.
Obviously, they're playing that in Minnesota. The air conditioning must be blown out.
What a parade. Strike. Here's the way they went. O'Brien, Incaviglia, Porter, Sierra, and Duchel, all against Blyleven. And then Porter again and Sierra again against Others. Others is having a terrible year. High fly ball to right field. Dwight Evans is there. So the inning is over, and the Yankees get 2, one of them unearned. And at the end of an inning, the Pinstripes 2 and the Red Sox nothing.
Did you know how the government finds out how safe cars are? They crash them.
Did you know at 35 miles per hour, Yugo did better than Sprint, Hyundai, Audi 5000, and even a Cadillac?
Did you know Yugo makes driving safer?
Because it has front-wheel drive and steel-belted radial tires.
Did you know this safe, dependable car is only $39.90?
You can buy one by calling 1-800-USA-YUGO.
And you should, because everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
When you need tools, any kind of tools, for every kind of job, one place and one name give you more good choices than anywhere else. Sears and Craftsman.
There's more for your life at Sears.
I had to try this to believe it. Denerex tingles. Tells me it's doing more. Selsun Blue, no tingle.
Both Denerex and regular Selsun Blue have dandruff medicine, but Denerex adds an extra anti-itch medicine.
So long, Selsun Blue. Hello, Denerex.
The doctor said I have swollen hemorrhoidal tissue.
Then get Preparation H.
Preparation H relieves pain and itch for hours
and it helps shrink swelling of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissue.
Preparation H works great.
Doctor recommended, hospital-tested Preparation H.
A great new television show.
I may not always believe in the client, but I have to believe in the system.
A 2-hour movie preview of L.A. Law, Monday.
Just a thought, if the Red Sox win the East, and they would appear to be almost a lock, it'll mean that 6 different teams have won the division in the last 6 years, and people are saying it could be 7 out of 7 if the Cleveland Indians get a little more power next year. A little pitching to go with that tremendous offense. Wouldn't that be something? And isn't he something? Jim Rice, followed by Baylor and Evans.
That last quick shot that you saw, watch how Rice is choked up a little bit on the bat. He was always at the end, and he just wants to drive the ball and be quick with the bat. He's choked up a bit.
Check swing and a little roller to Randolph, and that will be that. We can talk a lot more about Jim Rice next time he's up, about how he has shortened his stroke, how he does not hit into as many double plays, and how he is a much better hitter. 1 away. Don Baylor coming up the DH. 1 down, 2nd inning, and the Yankees leading 2-0. Dan Pasqua's home run in the 1st inning. High pop fly. Boy, is that up in the blue. Collison and Randolph, and it's Randolph.
It's not an easy sky either.
So 2 down, and Dwight Evans will be coming up.
Number 24, Dwight Evans.
The ball player, you always look for those little clouds, little angels you call them, but there's a lot of blue up there today, Vin.
And how? One of the many aspects as we look up at that severe, it's so blue it looks like it's going to be brittle and shatter any minute. Beautiful backdrop for this large crowd at Yankee Stadium. Here's Dwight Evans. I was thinking as we opened up the show, with many candidates for the Most Valuable Player Award, you also have several fellows battling for the American League Batting Championship, and there are 10 men in the American League who could possibly win the Home Run Championship, and some of them are here. Great change. Wow.
Had in a great spot, too. Well, a perfect spot, low and away.
6'7", and all of a sudden pull the string. That's tough.
If he just drops the ball, it's got to be coming at you 85.
1 ball, 1 strike. Mound away. It's hard to believe because it really sums up how quickly the time goes. Remember opening day? The first pitch of the first game of the year. Jack Morris pitched it, and Dwight Evans hit it for a home run. 2-2. Where'd all those games go? Deuce wild on Evans. 2-0 Yankees in the 2nd, and that takes care of Dwight. So Rasmussen has retired 6 in a row, and at the end of an inning and a half, the Yankees 2 and the Red Sox nothing, and Seaver goes back to work.
For every man who wears Brute deodorant, there's a woman who'll always be glad that he did. Because a man who wears Brute deodorant is nice to be close to. Brute. It smells like a man.
Great. Did you know the Yugo for only $39.90 is the choice of fun lovers everywhere?
Did you know the Yugo is becoming a favorite on college campuses?
Did you know in Fort Lauderdale, 33 college kids stuffed into one?
Did you know Yugo is the official car of the U.S. volleyball team?
So whether you're having a ball
or spiking a ball,
if you're into fun,
get into a Yugo.
Call 1-800-USA-YUGO and drive one today. Everybody needs a Yugo sometime.
You don't turn your back when a friend needs a hand. You gotta help a friend out any way you can. You don't have to ask. They're always right here where you count on each other. And Miller's will be here. Miller's made the American way. Born and brewed in the USA.
Miller contains no additives or preservatives. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
Would
Finish by Minwax penetrates deep into wood, so it's easy to get beautiful results. Bring out wood's rich, warm glow with Wood Finish by Minwax.
Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Raiders battle the Redskins.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
Tom Seaver ready to work now to Mike Pagliarulo, Willie Randolph, and then Joel Skinner. And the Yankees leading 2-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Tags with good numbers. He's been out with a bad leg. Hamstring. Ball 1. He's hit in 5 of the last 7. And he's having a career best year with the home runs and the RBIs. And, of course, when you remember the big story in baseball, when he was injured on the last road trip, Don Mattingly filled in playing left-handed at third base. Ground ball up the middle. Base hit for Pagliarulo. In case you missed it, well, let's roll the clock back a little bit as we look at one of the greatest pitchers who ever played the game. He has now won 311. The milestone was against the Yankees right here. He was pitching for the Chicago White Sox, and Tom Seaver finally got it. Now, of course, he has moved on to bigger and better things and hoping for a date in the World Series. Pagliarulo at first. Here's Willie Randolph. And this is a milestone. Randolph is in the Yankee record books. And what a name he passes by playing today. He is the all-time leader in games played for the Yankees at second base, replacing the name Tony Lazzari.
Whew. That is a milestone.
1 ball, no strikes. He jammed him. Little fly ball, shallow right. Out goes Barrett. In comes Evans. It's Evans. So 1 down as Randolph is jammed. That'll bring up Joel Skinner.
Evans makes a long run. He's really not sure he's all alone. Thinks Barrett might collide with him, but he does make a fine play. Just a footnote on that Randolph, how many different shortstops he's had. We've gone down that list. It's like a dramatic reading of the Yellow Pages.
Yeah, that was that line Morse Klein wrote about the fact that Randolph plays a little bit longer. He will have played with every shortstop in the modern era of baseball.
Made his job doubly tough, but
boy,
no man has done more with less publicity than Randolph.
Just also talking about how quick time goes by. Here's Joel Skinner. When the season started, Skinner was wearing a White Sox uniform, crouching behind the plate, catching Tom Seaver. And he hammers it to right. Going back is Evans to make the play. Then dropped it while in the act of throwing. The out is recorded. He only dropped the ball while in the act. However, Piniella is going to go out and argue with Scott, the first base umpire. But Evans had clearly caught it, brought his arm down, and he just dropped it while taking the ball out. And that's the first thing Scott said to Lou. He dropped it while taking it out.
Really is a moot point because they would have had to force at second base either way. He's got the ball there. He's going to make the throw, and out she comes right there.
Yeah, that's plenty of time for possession. Yeah. Lou's getting awfully hot. Surprisingly, it didn't appear to be really a contentious kind of a call.
What's the difference? Am I missing something? I mean, if he could have thrown it to second base and gets the force.
But he had clear possession of the ball. Telling me you're taking the ball out of the glove, he said, with a few others. That's not the rule. That's not the rule. He said a few other things besides not.
That's not the rule. That's what he said.
Fertilizer, dirty rack and frats. Look at this. Now he's going to reach up and grab it. He's got it. Brings the arm down. He's in possession. Now it comes out.
But again, let's say he would have ruled it. But unfortunately, second base, what's the difference? I mean, the out is out. You know, it didn't confuse the runner anyway, because he was the runner. Pagliarulo was at first base. That might be some other factors going around the Yankee Stadium that caused that argument.
Without a doubt. The Yankees have lost 5 straight at home. They had that brief little spurt where they swept Toronto, but they had lost 5 out of 7 and 6 out of 9. They've lost 4 straight to the Red Sox, so they're not too happy, and understandably so. Slicing foul ball down the left field line out of play. Count 0-1.
When they expect you to win and you don't win, and things like that happen, it's fingernails on the blackboard time.
Yeah. It's 2-0 in favor of the Yankees here in the second inning. Standing at first with his base hit, Mike Pagliarulo. He has 3 stolen bases this year. The first stolen bases he had since he was in Nashville in 1983. And Buckner, although Buckner is kind of holding him on, as soon as he sees Seaver, why, he is getting way off that bag. Collison trying to take advantage of the hole on the right side. And he hits a little thumber, a flare into center for a base hit. And the Yankees now have runners at first and second with 2 out on the bloop single by Wayne Tollison.
That was about as polite a hit as you can get. It hardly made any noise.
So 2 on, 2 out, second inning, 2-0 Yankees. And now you have Ricky Henderson, who was aboard on the era when Wade Boggs backed up on his tricky ground ball. So Henderson trying to keep it going. The Yankees 2 runs, 3 hits early in the second inning. Strike. John McNamara. He's done a great job. He weathered that terrible slide after the All-Star break when the club lost 13 out of 18. And he has certainly gotten them well back on track. 1-1. Every team in the division really has made a charge on the Red Sox, with the exception of Milwaukee. Every team in the East has gotten to within 5 of Boston since the break, but the Sox have managed to turn them all away. Line drive, base hit into left field. Pagliarulo coming to score, and Rice throws it. It's cut off. Yankees are out in front 3-0. So Seaver, who would appear, at least from up here, not to be throwing hard at all, is in a hole. Down 3-0. And the batter will be Don Mattingly, who grounded out in the first inning.
Tollison's little flare is really the key hit in this inning, because you get the big guys up there. You expect the Hendersons and the Mattingleys to get their base hits, and that's what Seaver wanted to avoid, have them up there with men in scoring position.
Mattingly, with a 12-game hitting streak, grounded out to Buckner. 0-1. Stewart beginning to loosen up now. Sammy stretching out down there in the bullpen. I do not expect that we'll see Calvin Schiraldi at all today. Ground ball to third, and Boggs on the bag for the force play, and that's that. So they get a run on 3 hits and leave 2. And at the end of 2, it's 3-0 Yankees. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
How do you feel about spending the night with 2 handsome young men?
I better remember to take my vitamins.
Join Bob Hope and his guests when they lampoon the new TV scene Monday.
Since I hung up my size 19 sneakers, Dave and I always get together for a few Miller Lights.
And argue about who was the greatest player.
You were the greatest.
No, Bob, you were.
At least we agree Lights taste is the greatest.
Yep, Lights also less filling. And you can't afford to get filled up when you're the great Bob Lanier.
Come on, Dave. You won the MVP and the championship. Those were the 2 biggest feats in basketball.
No, Bob. Those were the 2 biggest feats in basketball.
For the biggest taste, there's only one light beer. Miller Lite.
Who's got a truck that can do a ton of work? Toyota is who. Who's got the most payload of any small truck? Toyota is who. Who's got power? Who's got an electronically fuel-injected engine? And who's got a towing option that can handle 2.5 tons? Toyota is who. 1986 Toyota 1-ton. And who else? Nobody.
You do a lot for your lawn. You sprinkle, fertilize, and mow. But now fall's coming, and it's time to give your lawn the most important treatment of all. It's time for Wintergreen, the fall fertilizer. Wintergreen's special formula greens now and helps build strong root systems so your lawn will wake up next spring greener and thicker than ever. Don't let your lawn go to bed hungry. Feed it Wintergreen, the fall fertilizer. Or two-way Wintergreen to weed and feed from Greenview.
Test your knowledge on the morning edition of Jeopardy, weekdays at 10.
Boy, you talk about your glittering credentials. Look at the Red Sox. Is that something? And Tony Armas, to lead it off, fouled it away.
That's almost the kind of a graphic you'd put up on an old-timers game, what they did. But you look at it now and you say, hey, look. And most of them in the lineup.
Look at that again.
All of them are.
Oh.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. That right fielder isn't doing too badly with the glove, is he? 0-1 to count to Tony Armas. Three to nothing in favor of the Yankees. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Armas hitting over .500 against Yankee pitching this year, and he is feeling much stronger and better now. Remember, he had the bad leg, the torn calf muscle last year.
I think what you talked about before, Vin, pretty much sets the character of the Red Sox ball club, how they fought off the charges. That and their ability to come from behind is, well, that's why they're in first place. It's as simple as all that.
You want to know what kind of charges were made by teams in the East? It's kind of interesting to realize. Trying not to let it get in the way. High foul ball, and Joel Skinner is there. 1 away. Let's take the largest deficit a team had, and then its charge, the closest it got to the Red Sox. Toronto from 12 to 3.5. Detroit from 14 to 4.5. The Yankees from 8 to 3. Baltimore from 10 to 2.5. Cleveland from 12 to 5. And yet the Red Sox fought them all off and demolished Baltimore along the way. In fact, recently, when the Red Sox beat Baltimore, they had gained 13.5 games on Baltimore in 1 month. Foul ball, and Mattingly will spear it. So I know there are a lot of people in Boston who were troubled after the All-Star break when the team lost the 13 out of 18. But it not only held its ground and fought it off, it advanced. And that's a sign of a good ball club.
And coming from behind, last night, Yankees jumped out in front, Red Sox came back.
2 down, and here's Spike Owen. Of course, earlier in the year, if you talk to people, let's say they had been disillusioned in the past, you could hear all the stories. Oh, boy, Clemens isn't going to hold up. The Sox don't have a shortstop, bad defense, Boggs never gets a big hit. And Oil Can Boyd, who knows Oil Can Boyd? And Buckner with all of his injuries, etc., etc. And here they are. Good play by Randolph, and the inning is over. 3 perfect innings, 9 in a row. Retired by Dennis Rasmussen. Yankees 3, Sox nothing.
I feel good. Time to go, boys. You've been in there long enough.
Hey, we're not even tired. I feel good.
So I've checked the mileage and it's...
Hey, where are the order lights? We're guaranteed.
Guaranteed?
Feel good. Yeah, 2 years no matter how far we go.
But no spark plug guarantees that.
We do. Yeah, we're the auto lights.
But
So go pull the plug on somebody else.
Okay.
There's something about
are a born leader that you recognize immediately. That's why over 43 million people flock to Metropolitan for insurance protection. That's why 68 of the top 100 American industrial companies come to Metropolitan for employee benefit programs. In fact, Metropolitan is one of America's largest pension asset managers. Because a leader is someone you feel sure about, no matter what. Getting that, it pays.
Sure, the extra features you get on this limited edition Jetta GLI make it special. But what really makes this car special is this little feature right here.
American tradition continues. 1975 brought one of the most memorable moments in World Series history. Carlton Fisk's game-winning homer sent Fenway Park into a frenzy. Next Saturday, the Red Sox road to the pennant travels through Toronto as they face the Blue Jays, plus regional action. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting.
The proud Yankees, when you come into this ballpark, you think about winning. Last 10 years. Add to that 4 pennants and 2 world championships. They've had a pretty good run.
Indeed they have, and they made a pretty good run for a while. Remember, they were within 3 games of the Red Sox in late July, and they were within 4 as late as the middle of August. And that was when they began to slip. Breaking ball for ball 1. They played Kansas City, and they went through a spell where they lost 13 out of 20 to fall 11 back. Ground foul outside of first. In that 20-game span, the Yankees had only 4 victories from their starting pitchers. Tommy John has probably been the second best pitcher on the staff behind Dennis Rasmussen. So they're hurting. The pennant flying high atop the pole, accustomed to having much higher standings. And they're just as Mr. Steinbrenner said before the game, there are going to be some changes.
Oh, yeah. Got a feeling there'll be a lot of changes.
Well, I think George made a big mistake at the start of the year, thinking he could get by with what he had in the pitching. 1 and 2. Ground ball foul. Once again, we'd like to remind our viewers we'll be selecting the NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game at the conclusion. How about this now? On August the 30th, the Yankees played Seattle a doubleheader. The starting pitchers for the proud Yankees were 43-year-old Tommy John and 41-year-old Joe Niekro. The base hit to right field. Now, do you know the last time he had a doubleheader where the teammates who started the doubleheader were 40 or over? It's 53 years ago. I mean, and you think you can win a pennant with that? I mean, the Chicago White Sox played the Philadelphia A's in 1933. Sam Jones was 41, and Red Faber, I think that's how you pronounce the name, he was 44. Well, now, come on. Right?
Okay.
Okay. And Pasqua at first, and here's Mike Easler with a 6-game hitting streak. Ground ball to the right side to Marty Barrett. He'll feed Owen. Back to Buckner. Double play.
Looked like a double play ball when it started out, but it really became a dandy double play when that ball took the big hop. Nice big hop. Barrett has it eye high, gives it to Owen chest high, out of the way, and it's an easy double play.
You know, we were talking before about Wayne Tollison being the 6th Yankee shortstop. Spike is the 4th shortstop for Boston this year. And with 2 down, here's Winfield. Three runs, 5 hits for the Yankees. No runs, no hits for the Red Sox. And we're in the bottom of the 3rd. When the Sox come up, Wade Boggs, Marty Barrett, and Bill Buckner.
really takes his cuts up there.
Final score, the Tigers knock off Baltimore 7-2. Home runs by Mike Young and Larry Herndon in that one. Tom Seaver, 7-11. There's only 1 million angles to the possibles in the World Series. The most prominent, of course, is Tom Seaver pitching against the Mets. 1 and 2. Just one of all kinds. Two balls and 2 strikes. Dave Winfield, among other things, kind of an interesting own. He owns an art gallery in his native St. Paul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. And he wasn't framed. Down he goes. No run. At the end of 3. The Yankees 3, Red Sox nothing. I'm innocent, Your Honor.
Draft beer. It's always been the smoothest, freshest beer around, poured straight from the tap. And now there's a true draft beer in a bottle. Miller Genuine Draft. It's not heat pasteurized like most bottled beers. It's cold filtered for real draft smoothness. Miller Genuine Draft. It's beer at its best.
You won't believe what's happening inside your muffler. Rust that starts on the inside is eating its way through. The Napa Advantage muffler with Absorbite helps prevent internal rust. The inside of this muffler was not protected with Absorbite. This muffler was. You can see the difference. The Napa Advantage is even covered by a lifetime warranty. Of course, you may never have to use it. The Napa Advantage. It puts rust at a disadvantage. Available at thousands of Napa outlets.
The beauty of patience is its gentle persistence, but the power of patience is anything but passive. For proof, we introduced the new generation of Mitsubishi pickups. This new Mitsubishi is more than just a new truck. Patient crafting has combined a vigorous new shape with the available power of the largest inline 4-cylinder built, which proves that even patience likes to kick up a little dust. Mitsubishi.
Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Raiders battle the Redskins.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
By the way, when we give you that and say it's updated, we mean that, particularly for Kirby Puckett. That Minnesota game is history, so those are the numbers right to the minute. Wade Boggs, Marty Barrett, and Bill Buckner coming up. Boggs has a good shot at having 200 hits for his 4th straight time. And he's on his way with that one. And he is now hit in 15 straight games, and that's the first hit of the game, breaking a string of 9 consecutive outs.
Vin, he is a great hitter. You just have to look at the averages. But if you remember that first time at bat, they threw 3 fastballs inside. They kept the curveball away from him. Looked like they were going to try to take away his inside-out swing to left field. And he jumped on that first fastball and hit it. I remember in Anaheim him saying, before I go into a game, I have a mental picture of my 4 times at bat, and I have a definite picture of one swing that I think is perfect against that particular pitcher. And if that was it, boy.
He's right. There's a high fly ball into right center. Henderson drifting over. And holding at first is Boggs. So Marty Barrett, first ball swinging, 1 away, and Bill Buckner coming up. Buckner with 98 runs batted in. Most RBIs in the league by a left-hander. He has more RBIs than Wally Joyner, more RBIs than Don Mattingly. He's had 9 RBIs in his last 5 games, and those 17 home runs he's hit, a career high.
and he can hardly run. You really have to add that because he doesn't get helped at all with speed because of the unfortunate situation of his legs. He's got bad legs.
I thought, and so did he, I think, that he was finished when he broke his ankle, and that would be 1975. And here he is on those skinny wheels on his way into the League Championship Series.
And usually in the pits for repairs, he really has to prepare himself before a game. It takes him a long time to get ready.
You know, when you look at it, the Red Sox have 4 players with over 80 RBIs. People like Buckner, Rice, Evans, and Baylor. At the start of this week, the entire National League had only 5 players with 80 RBIs. And as of last weekend, no other team in the majors had more than 2 players with 80. And look at this club. Oh, and 2. 0-1. I'll never look at Buckner. Remember when he was a kid. He was with the Dodgers. Thrown out on a close play at first base in St. Louis. And he was so angry and so frustrated that he went down and tried as hard as he could to pull first bag out of the ground and throw it into the stand. I'll never forget that. You talk about playing with intensity. And the other thing about him, when you first saw him as a raw rookie, his ability to make contact, which is in jeopardy now. Foul back. He's only struck out 22 times this year. And as a kid, first time you saw him in spring training, he never struck out. Ed Williams said, hey, this fellow's going to win the batting crown some year.
As happens in a lot of cases, Jim Murray captured it best.
Yeah.
He could foul off machine gun bullets. That takes a pretty good eye.
He is something. Billy Bucks. 1 and 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You can see the great concentration. Every move he makes in the batter's box has a purpose. Now watch what he does with that bat before he gets ready to get it back there and cocked. I mean, he doesn't wave it. He'll kind of point it at the pitcher, keep it out there.
2 balls, 2 strikes. On the fists, a little foul behind the plate, and Skinner should put it away. He was properly jammed.
That's what he looks like to the pitcher.
Amazing about Buckner is he's frustrated there on the foul ball with all the things he's done. A career .295 hitter, over 2,300 hits, 15 years. He's only been in 1 All-Star game.
That's unusual.
Yeah,
I didn't know
just
that.
1, 1981, that's all. Okay, talking about stars, here's Jim Rice, and he's jammed. Boy, Rasmussen is really snaking that pitch on the thumbs, and it's going to drop. Randolph looking up into that bright sky, and then he saw Big Winfield, and the next thing you know, it was between them.
He's just going to walk right away from it because actually Winfield should have ran him off the ball. There's no reason that with his back to the infield, right here, Winfield stops and says, you go ahead and take it, but that's a tough play for him. Looked like he was hounding. I got it.
There'll be an error charged to Willie Randolph.
Tough play.
Yeah. So that means the Sox get their first look at this game. The Yankees are leading 3-0. However, the tying run comes to the plate, and as George Steinbrenner looks on, he sees, of all people, Don Baylor at the plate representing the tying run. Baylor popped up in the second inning. Rasmussen is really quick, sneaky, in on the hands. He did it with Buckner, and he really did it with Rice.
He's getting a little help from the shadows, too.
1-0. He's still trying to keep it in so Baylor can't extend the arms and to count 2 balls and no strike. Baylor hanging over the plate. He has been hit 30 times this year by pitchers. 30. 2-0. 3-0.
And if you think he's taken on this particular pitch, or at least has the take sign. I mean, when they give you 3-0, they say, hey, if you like it, go ahead. If it's not exactly perfect, take it. But he'll have the light.
On the corner, inside, 3-1. So Boggs at third, Rice at first. 3-1 the count to Baylor. Line down the line, foul. We were talking before about Bert Blyleven and his misfortune, having set a new American League record with 44 home runs allowed. Rasmussen has been hurt quite often this year. Dennis has given up 23. But with a full count, that means Rice goes from first. Another foul ball, and again in on the hands.
That's a tough ball to keep fair. I mean, you got a good cut, but you trying to hit that ball, you pull it foul, and that's why you look for that ball. A little bit of a mistake. Those are good pitches made by Rasmussen, hoping he can jam him to pop it up, but Baylor's able to pull it, hits it hard, but no way he can keep it fair.
3-2. Rice goes, and did it hit him? Yes, he was hit by the pitch beside being ball four. But it's more to be hit by the pitch, meaning the ball is dead. The bases are loaded, and Don Baylor has been now hit 31 times this year.
Back arm. He strides into it, and you see it just comes sailing in. And he was pitching him inside and nips him again.
So the bases are loaded with 2 down, 3-0 Yankees in the 4th inning. And Pinellas sweating out an anxious moment as Dwight Evans will be coming up. In case you are thinking along these lines, the Red Sox have hit 7 grand slams this year. That would be 2 shy of the club record. So here's Evans. Ball 1. Evans is another fella, one of the rare breed, a home run hitter, but a very good eye for the strike zone. In the recent series in Baltimore, Evans had 3 home runs. He has Baylor at first, Rice at second, Boggs at third. 2 down in the 4th. Yankees 3, Red Sox nothing. Foul tip, 1-2. Rasmussen has 1 strikeout, and it was Evans in the 2nd inning. And he's trying to use Evans as an escape hatch here in the 4th.
Here's his pitch of decision. He used that one to set him up. He can still come inside or maybe try to nip that outside corner.
McNamara watching his club try to come from behind. They've done that a lot this year. Got it. No runs, 1 hit, an error, 3 left. At the end of 3 1/2, 3-0 Yankees, and here's another edition of Characters of the Game.
Characters of the Game, brought to you by A&W Root Beer. Sit back and pour yourself a frosty one.
It's a success story that only happens now and then, not too often.
The Charlie Finley success story began when he developed a landmark insurance program and became an instant millionaire. He then bought the Kansas City A's and proceeded to shake up the grand old game. He replaced traditional uniforms with Kelly green and gold garb, featuring white kangaroo shoes. He then put ball boys out of work with a mechanical rabbit and unleashed the famous mascot, a mule called Charlie O. He then offered players bonuses for growing mustaches and thus helped create his team's swashbuckling image. But Charlie Finley's legacy is not all gimmicks. By signing some of the best young talent around, he built a genuine baseball dynasty. The Oakland A's won 5 straight divisional titles and 3 consecutive world championships. Love him or hate him, and players and fans did both, Charlie Finley was a true character of the game.
looking for?
Tall, cold, frosty one, big foamy head, rich and creamy.
No.
3 A&Ws.
Root beer.
The A&W root beer. It's got that frosty mug taste.
Pour yourself a frosty one. A&W.
No. Huh? No. What do you guys do for a living, huh?
You know, just a couple of minutes ago, I was talking about Bill Buckner. So angry, he was trying to rip first base out of the ground. Tell me the truth. What was the maddest moment you ever had?
I was with Columbus in the American Association. I tried to break the mask. I was so mad, I didn't realize I was trying to break it with a glove.
You really were a slow learner, weren't you?
Oh, I'm pounding that thing like this, and it won't break. And the more it won't break, the more upset I'm getting, and I'm really drilling it.
But he's so gentle and soft-spoken and understated.
It's true.
It's true. What a guy. 0-1 to count. Mike Pagliarulo, followed by Willie Randolph and Joel Skinner. Big balloon by Seaver. And the count 1 ball, 1 strike. So the Yankees work off the hook in the 4th, and it's still 3-0 New York. Pagliarulo singled in the 2nd inning. Eventually came around to score a run. 2-2. Ground foul outside of first, trickling over to the far corner of the dugout, so it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Pagliarulo, Randolph, Skinner. If anybody gets on, Wayne Tolleson. Red Sox have just 1 hit. Clean single to right by Wade Boggs. And that punches out Pagliarulo. That's 2 in a row for Seaver.
You watch Seaver pitch. He doesn't have that great speed he once had, but he is really pitching in and out, up and down, changing speeds. 2 strikes. This looks like it's out of the strike zone. It certainly is. Looks like he just turned it over a little bit like a sinker, and Pagliarulo is out of there.
So 2 strikeouts for Tom Seaver, and here's the consistent Willie Randolph, despite having a little trouble with that pop fly. Strike, off speed. Randolph flied to right in the 2nd inning.
Oh, what a good pitch. It was not a strike, but I mean, it was right there.
1-1. Ball 2. And he has himself a base hit. So Randolph is 1 for 2 as he singles to left. That's hit number 7 against Seaver.
Just gets right by him. Boggs gave it a good effort.
So with a runner at first and 1 out, Joel Skinner coming up. Skinner's struggling with the bat.
Oh, he's a long way from the plate, man.
Strike, and he notice Seaver came right in on the inside corner. You would think if he backs off the plate that much, what do you think of immediately?
Well, I think he's going to stride in, and my fastball is going to be in tight. Breaking ball, I'm going to still be outside, but the fastball in.
I'll tell you one thing, and it's one of my pet peeves. If you take our camera shot of home plate right now, you tell me where the batter's box is. I mean, they didn't just wipe out the back line. There's no batter's box. That's a joke. Why do they go to the trouble of making it? I'll never understand why they go to all the trouble. They make this beautiful batter's box, and within 3 innings, it's gone.
But it looks nice when you start. It's like when your mother used to dress you for school. You look nice when you left the house.
I mean, he's almost in New Rochelle.
but it's up to the catcher to agitate him and say, hey, get in there. Hey, don't let it bother you.
1 ball, 1 strike. And there goes Willie Randolph. The pitch is a strike. The throw is late.
He picked a perfect pitch to go. Sullivan got off a good throw, but it's a slow curveball. He had something on it, but just a perfect pitch to run on. Straight steal. Look at that head. Looking right for the bag. I like those runners when they hit the ground. They pick up speed. Some guys hit it and they take bad hops.
1-2 the count to Joel Skinner. Punch to the right side, but it's right to Buckner. On the play, Randolph are taking third, and with 2 down, Wayne Tollison will be coming up.
By the time we get into another year, I'm going to have a list of Scully peeves. Coaches should wear helmets.
Now, what is it, how Dudley Moore would say it? He'd say, cool, I hate when that happens. I hate to see them tear the batter's box out. I hate when that happens. Here's Tollison, who singled in the 2nd inning. He's giving the Sox a bad time. 2 down, runner at third, 3-0 Yankees in the 4th.
Now, if I was playing against you and I knew that, if he'd come up to hit the first time, I'd say, wait a minute, I want to rub this out. It's getting in my eyes.
I'd go right away to the umpire.
He'd just listen and wouldn't do anything.
You're right. 1-1. Well, that was that great line we were talking about. Nate Colbert hollered out at Bob Gibson when he was throwing so hard. He hollered from the dugout, if you're going to throw that hard, you're going to have to back up. It's not fair to stay on the rubber. Ball 2. So if the pitcher's going to have to do something with the hitters backing out of the box, as you look at Willie Randolph down the line from third. 3-0 Yankees in the 4th. 2-1. Fouled away. So you got all the deuces you want. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and number 2, Wayne Tollison at the plate. There they are. Bust him in Vegas. Deuces wild. Foul ball again upstairs.
You know, as you see that shot from center field, Mark Sullivan will not move around behind the plate, nor any catcher that Seaver throws to, because Tom likes to have that catcher directly behind the plate. I know in a great conversation with Carlton Fisk, you know what's coming, but you really don't know until you worked a couple games with Seaver where it's going to be.
Just off the plate. 3-2. So with a full count and 2 down, Randolph at third, bottom of the 4th. The Yankees 3, Red Sox nothing. Now back. Tom Seaver and Dennis Rasmussen. Pretty good pairing. On deck, waiting his turn, Ricky Henderson. Ground ball to the hole, base hit into right field, and it is 4-0 Yankees. We mentioned it at the start of the game. At least sitting up here looking down, it doesn't look like Seaver is throwing hard at all, which seems to tell you that unless he has pinpoint, absolute perfect control, he's in for a long afternoon. Well, as you can see, he is not fooling people at all. 7 hits, 4 runs, and we're only in the 4th inning. Of course, maybe, too, it's because I remember how hard he used to throw. Oh, my. There goes the runner. Breaking ball, too, and it popped right out of Sully's mitt. No throw. So Tollison steals. And actually, Sully never had a chance, first on the pitch selection and the jump.
Well, Seaver never was known for being able to hold runners that close, but then again, he didn't get that many on. You can see that Tollison had 3 steps on Seaver, and Sullivan was really going to have to throw a real bullet to get him, and obviously when he dropped it, he lost the play.
2 steals in the inning. Ground ball to shortstop. Fielding it head on a spike on to get him, and that's it. However, the Yankees get a run on a couple of hits and stolen bases, and they lead 4-0 at the end of 4. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Did Dudley Moore make a deal with the devil, or was he acting? It's a classic. Dudley Moore and Saturday Night Live.
It's the great Pennzoil Jeep giveaway. And for 20 lucky winners, something wild's going to drive into their lives. To enter, round up the entry forms that are on every bottle of quality Pennzoil motor oil. Or look for the Pennzoil display for all them details. The great Pennzoil Jeep giveaway. Enter today. And Jeep Wrangler just might drive into your life.
To make chili as good as my ma's, you need Italian tomatoes, Mexican beans, and my ma in the kitchen. How's it going, Ma? How's your kitchen? She's great. Knows just how hot I like it, and the tall, cold one I like with it. Natural Light. The beer with the taste for food. Ah, this is the life. Eat off the table.
Yeah, all natural, less filling. It's Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch.
Put a coaster under the beer.
The way cheap phones break down, the companies that make them must do some pretty interesting tests.
You're me? I hear you. I heard something.
Real torture tests. And ring tests.
I heard it. What did you hear? I heard it. Are you sure you heard it?
Well, for over 100 years, AT&T's made phones that pass the real test. You.
Nothing. I dropped the phone.
You get what you pay for. AT&T, the right choice.
Test your knowledge on the morning edition of Jeopardy! Weekdays at 10.
Today's game brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors. Experience the sensation of the all-new trucks from Mitsubishi. The Yankees needed 25,000 today to go over the 2 million mark, and that is more than just a cinch, but it is more than just a number of 2 million, because the Yankees will surpass the 100 million mark today. The first American League team ever, the only team beside the Dodgers to reach that. And George Steinbrenner has a part in it, although not when it first began at Hilltop Park. Then they went from there to the Polo Grounds, then to Yankee Stadium. You might remember they played at Shea Stadium and then back here at Yankee Stadium. And today, they will go over the 100 million mark.
That's a lot of folk. Whew. Whew. 100 million.
Dennis Rasmussen pitching like a couple of million. He's allowed just 1 hit. Tony Armas badly fooled. He was way out in front of that pitch. So Rasmussen is doing 2 things. To these right-hand hitters, he is really challenging with the fastball, and then when they start looking for that, he just slows up, and breaking ball takes care of.
It's almost like 4 pitches, because that changeup, it's a curveball and an off-speed pitch, so it's 2 pitches right there.
Well, he has 3 strikeouts. Of course, when you're pitching against the Red Sox, and every pitcher in the American League had to shudder. Remember, the Red Sox beat Cleveland this year 24-5. The interesting thing about that game, Wade Boggs, on a team that had 24 hits in that game, Boggs didn't get any. Baylor, the cleanup hitter, didn't have a hit or an RBI. And the Red Sox scored 22 of their 24 runs with 2 out, including 11 in the 6th inning with 2 out. Pop fly to shortstop. Collison. Boy, that's tough. One other wacky note about that 24-5 game. There was no game-winning RBI, even though it was 24-5. No game-winning RBI because...
Why?
The go-ahead run that was never challenged came in on a balk. So there was
So John's seen a lot this year. Talking about scores, here they are. The Baltimore Orioles have now lost 21 of their last 27. You think Earl knows something? Wow.
Well, he very definitely says he's not coming back next year. I'm going to miss him. I know you will.
Yeah, and how? 1 ball and no strikes. 2 down, 5th inning. In there.
And in case you missed it, just kind of a news note, Ray Miller was fired by the Minnesota Twins.
It appeared to be almost inevitable.
Yeah.
Line drive right at Pagliarulo, and I tell you what, it's a good thing he caught it. It kind of sat up on the glove. It almost got him right between the horns. And it's still 4-0 Yankees.
The beauty of patience is its gentle persistence, but the power of patience is anything but passive. For proof, we introduced the new generation of Mitsubishi pickups. This new Mitsubishi is more than just a new truck. Patient crafting has combined a vigorous new shape with the available power of the largest inline 4-cylinder built, which proves that even patience likes to kick up a little dust. Mitsubishi.
You've heard that the people of Manville are striving to be America's best supplier. Of what? Of products like the filtration material that Manville makes, that makes beverages clear and safe. And highly advanced roofing systems that really keep the water out. And Manville fiberglass air ducts for energy-saving heating and cooling. 21,000 people with one goal. To be America's best supplier of products like these. That's Manville.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Oh, and Beethoven here neglects to tell us his building doesn't have an elevator. Give me a break, you guys.
Hey, Mitchell, what was in that piano? Cement or what?
What a fiasco. Oh, at least he did get us a keg. That was good draft beer.
Yeah, well, buying that keg was the only good idea you had that day.
When you're drinking new Miller Genuine Draft, it'll remind you of the best beer you ever had. Because it is Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft smoothness. Miller Genuine Draft. It's beer at its best.
Should have hired skilled labor.
Not only outfielders have trouble with the sun. That thing almost got Pagliarulo. That was that last line drive up Spike Owens' bat. Here's Don Mattingly. 4-0 Yankees in the 5th.
All good hitters have great concentration. Wade Boggs and certainly Mattingly. He says there's no such thing as a natural hitter. You have natural ability and you work at it.
Grounded into the dugout and over it. Just over the dugout. It started in and it hit that little wooden support. And all of his opponents are telling him go the other way. He almost wiped out the Sox. You talk about, as they say, ungrammatically, waiting on a pitch. 2-2. You know, if you're a left-hand hitter especially, it's a textbook to come here today.
Watching Boggs and Mattingly, just the concentration of the two.
Ground ball foul.
And if you're a little leaguer or a peewee leaguer or whatever they call it in your town, and you say, I don't want to hit off the tee, I want to hit off a real pitcher. No, this fella spends hours hitting off the tee to perfect that swing. It's mechanics, and he's constantly honing it, refining it.
And a workhorse. 2-2. He is the only Yankee to play in every game during a full 162-game season. Richardson, White, Chambliss, and we'll see if he goes the distance in 1986.
going to say, Vin, I think that ball caromed and got Denkinger behind the plate. And they're all just kind of visiting with him there.
Full count. And he goes the other way with singles to left. So Mattingly now has hit in 13 straight. The one shutout for Dennis Rasmussen was against the Chicago White Sox back on July the 5th. He pitched a dandy. He allowed 3 hits, and the Yankees won at 8-0. For Seaver, shutouts are old hat. The Yankees 8 hits, at least 1 hit in every inning. And here is Pasqua, who put him away in the first inning with a 2-run home run and then singled in the third. Chopper foul. Sammy Stewart is up again in the Red Sox bullpen. Calvin Schiraldi warmed up last night, and John McNamara said he didn't warm up well. I'm going to give him today off, no matter what. Oh, good off-speed pitch for a strike. Not that you would see Schiraldi at this time of a game with the Yankees leading 4-0. And I think the Red Sox and John McNamara feel they finally have another Raditz, or someone like that. Finally have somebody who can really bring it. High drive the other way to left. Going back because he got no jump was Rice, and it's going to bounce over the fence for the ground rule double. Jim Rice never picked the ball up, and by the time he broke, it was over his head. And there are runners at second and third. Pasqua gets a tough break because he loses an RBI.
Ball was really hit, a slow curveball. Rice looks for that fence, but he knows it's going to be over his head. He's ready to play the carom, but good break for the Red Sox. Then it goes into the stands, and it's a ground rule double. It goes right over his head. He's ready to play the carom. John McNamara is making a walk out there.
Seaver has been singularly unimpressive since the start of the game. He has allowed 9 hits. He has 2 strikeouts, and he's done. So Sammy Stewart will be called in from the bullpen, and Tom Seaver leaves the scene in New York.
You're about to discover one reason no other long-distance company can.
Sammy Stewart coming in, as you can see, a record of 4-1. He doesn't work very much. He has averaged a little more than 2 innings in appearance. So Stewart with runners at second and third. One of the big stories here in New York, of course, would be the designated hitter. In this game, you have Mike Easler for the Yankees and the former DH for the Yankees, Don Baylor. So we thought we would compare the trade for you. One other thing for Baylor, because of the Steinbrenner quote about his bat will be dead by August, of those 28 home runs, Baylor has hit 9 since the 1st of August. And in the home run and RBI department, that's the best since his MVP year. So the Yankees trying to blow the Sox out of the water here. 4-0 New York. They have already dispatched Seaver, and Mark Sullivan going out to get his sign squared with Sammy Stewart.
You know, you talk about Baylor, of course, all the publicity about the leadership he brought to the clubhouse. Jim Rice really, in his own silent, strong way, the leader, but with Baylor coming over there, it's almost like Baylor's become the enforcer. So the leadership is still there from Rice and augmented by Baylor and enforced by Baylor and Rice, so they got it going with that kangaroo court.
Well, they've got some talent. Coming into this game, for instance, Rice had more hits than Boggs. drive into deep left center field. Back goes Rice. Back goes Armas. It's over the glove of Rice. That gets one in, and that's all on a 410-foot double by Mike Easler, who, by the way, has now hit in 7 straight games. Oh, you could chop that one up for a week.
If you chop that into singles, you'd have a hitting record going. Rice, you can see where he is. He's only 2 steps, and I mean it almost hits that wall on the fly right next to the 411 mark.
So with runners at second and third, Easler greets Stewart with a double for a run. We still have runners at second and third, nobody out, and here's Winfield.
Where was Pasqua?
He thought it was going to be caught?
He must have. He's at third base. I could have gotten a third.
Dave Winfield flied to right and struck out. Probably Easler might ask Pasqua, where were you? Well, Winfield, who is 0 for 2, fouled it back. The Yankees have a 5-0 lead. All 5 runs charged to Seaver. Pasqua, who is at third, also belongs to Seaver. And for John McNamara, he's trying to figure out, what do I do next? Bill Fisher, his pitching coach, sitting there right at the end of his rope.
What a job he's done, Vin. We'll talk a little bit more maybe if we get a chance, but that's where McNamara wants him, on the bench. He wants Fisher next to him. He really knows his pitchers.
2-1 to count to Winfield. Fastball on the corner. A little different stretch by Sammy Stewart. Watch where he throws from. I guess you'd call it a high set. He doesn't come down around the belt buckle. And it might be taking advantage of the sunshine background, too, while he stands in the shade.
He would take advantage, but that's pretty normal for him.
Yeah. Up you go. There. 3-2.
So wherever you feel comfortable, nobody says you have to bring it down to the belt. To me, it would seem like it would be uncomfortable, but for Sammy Stewart, feels good, do it.
It's like some golfers will put their club on the ground before hitting a tee shot. Others will never touch the ground. Well, Sammy likes that high stretch, and he's pitching to a high stretch by the name of Winfield. And he hammers it to center. Armas going back, away back. It's gone. Oh, what a golf ball.
Chop that one into singles and you'd have some year. Over the dead center field fence. That was a rocket. It looked like a stream of milk. It was just wide all the way. Wow, did he hit that ball. I don't think I've ever seen one hit that hard.
Take another look at this thing. It's just your basic 425-foot line drive.
Brother, if there's any doubt about what Rice or Armas's numbers are, those last 2 balls that were hit will tell you.
So 6 runs charged to Seaver, 2 runs charged to Stewart, and for the Yankees, they present the Red Sox with a slice of humble pie, at least for the day. Remember, the Yankees have lost 5 out of 7 and 4 straight in Yankee Stadium to Boston. So they're trying to return a lot of favors today.
What was that? Oh, that didn't get up or down. It just got out.
Can't believe it. It's interesting. You see a guy as big as Winfield, and you wonder, what does it look like when he really hits one? You just saw it.
That thing's rattling around the monuments out there somewhere.
Dave Winfield. Oh. And again, always after the thought, after seeing that ball go, just imagine the velocity if it were knee-high coming back at the pitcher.
You just see a pair of shoes there.
Terrifying. Foul ball. For Dave Winfield, he has 21 home runs, 88 runs batted in, and a big smile. Yeah, we'll send that to the art gallery. Fly ball foul down the left field line. A Winfield original. Well, it's 8-0.
That's what it is.
If they stayed in the hotel, they'd have lost 9-0. Line drive, base hit into right field.
Tell you, Sammy Stewart's had the kind of an inning so far that after the inning you want to take a roll call.
He's come in and given up a double to Easler for an RBI, and that one went 410. A line drive home run to Winfield that went 425. A single to right by Pagliarulo, and a migraine to John McNamara. Here's Willie Randolph. Flied to right, single to left. 8-0 Yankees. Strike. Couple of final scores for you. Detroit finished off Baltimore. In those 3 games, there were 13 home runs hit. 7 by Texas, 1 by Baltimore, 1 by Detroit. That gives us 9. 3 by Cleveland for 12, and 1 by Oakland for 13. Canseco hit his 32nd.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Live ball talk will be back.
That's in there. Of course, remember, of those 13, 7 of them were hit in the great indoors of Minnesota. All bets are off. Pagliarulo at first. Nobody out. 8-0 Yankees. And that's hit to left field. Coming up is Rice to play it on a bounce. That's 6 consecutive hits. Mattingly single. Pasqua doubled him to third. Easler doubled in Mattingly. Winfield homered to center. Pagliarulo singles. Randolph singles. And McNamara sends Fisher out to the mound. Stewart's having one of those days. It's the oldest baseball story in the world, right?
Yeah.
Where the pitching coach says to the catcher, "What's he got?" And he said, "I don't know. I haven't caught anything
Caught one yet." I was talking to Bill Fisher before, and John McNamara, pitching coaches, and John talked about the great pitching coaches he had. Roger Craig was once a pitching coach for him, Tom Morgan. John says, old Sailor Bill Posdell, that's his man. I was on a Pittsburgh club with old Bill, and I tell you, I never saw a harder working coach and knew more about pitching. In fact, Bill was one of McNamara's pitching coaches over at Oakland. So I imagine if he's out there watching this game, he's saying, John, I can't help you, pal. You're on your own.
I had the feeling, in just looking at Fisher, he had the attitude of, as if to say, look, Sammy, we're being blown out. Would you mind just kind of biting the bullet for a little while longer?
Stay out there and get your head handed to you.
Here's Joel Skinner, 2 on, nobody out. Yankees scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth, and 4 in the fifth. It is 8-0, still nobody out. Right. Joel Skinner has gone the other way twice against Seaver. He flied to right and grounded to first. We'll see what he does with Stewart. 1-1. One of the many rumors that you hear that the Yankees would like to get a left-hand hitting catcher like Terry Kennedy of San Diego, but that's just one of many rumors. There's a rumor that Joe Garagiola is going to remake all of Clark Gable's old movies. So, you know. 1-1. Up the middle, There's Owen on the bag for one, doubles him at first. So there's always somebody on the outside of the candy store, and it's Joel Skinner. So 2 down, Pagliarulo at third. Yankees leading 8-0, and Wayne Tollison coming up.
You ever go to a buffet and see all the food and you can't eat? That's what Skinner just went through. I've been through that. Everybody's getting a hit. You can't wait to get up there. Not only do you not get a hit, you get into a double play.
Yeah, you're the poor kid with your face up against the window looking in at the candy store, and all the kids are having a ball.
No, they're letting you inside.
That's even worse.
That's worse. And they're saying, look at all that food. You say, you can't eat, pal.
So Skinner 0 for 3. Well, if he has the personality and the inner strength of his dad, he'll be okay. Tollison single to center, single to right. Wayne is 2 for 2. And would you believe he has been a .400 hitter against Boston pitching this year? 2 for 2 today. Oh, what a lathering Stewart is taking. And Tollison will hold at first.
This was a fight.
So Tollison 3 for 3 with a run batted in, and McNamara saying, well, we came from behind last night. We have won 12 out of 13. We're 10 games in front. This I can walk away from. It is thoroughly forgettable.
Soon.
9 runs and 14 hits for the Yankees, and we're only in the 5th. And here's the 9th man, Ricky Henderson. Ball 1. Everybody in the Yankee lineup has a hit except Skinner. Everyone in the Yankee lineup except Skinner and Tollison has scored a run. And we're in the 5th inning. 1 ball, no strike. Cincinnati, that's Tom Browning, the big left-hander against Bob Welch, and they picked up 3 in the 6th inning to lead 3-0. Stewart, who has done a lot of good work for the Red Sox, 4-1, but he's just having one of those days. He has come in to relieve Tom Seaver. Henderson, everything's fine with him. Henderson just one of 3 players in Major League history with 20 home runs and steals 60 bases. Joe Morgan did it twice. This will be number 2 for Ricky. And the youngster who might very well be contributing to those 3 runs you just saw for the Cincinnati Reds. Talk about a star is born, Eric Davis. Two and 2 to Henderson. Got him looking. So for Sammy Stewart, mercifully, the 5th inning has come to an end. Dave Winfield can go look for his ball. And here's another edition of Baseball Remembers.
Old Spice presents Baseball Remembers. Brought to you by Old Spice Solid Antiperspirant. It keeps you so much drier, you just might want to switch from your old antiperspirant mid-stick. Enos Slaughter remembers his mad dash to home in the final inning of the 1946 World Series.
I led off the inning with a base hit. Carrasco tried to sacrifice me, and he popped up. Del Rice, he flied out to left field, and then Harry Walker, I was stealing. He hit this looping single into left center. Well, I said to myself, I can score. And as I rounded second, the ball was just hitting the ground in left center, and I never looked up. All I was thinking about is taking Roy Partee, the catcher, with me on into the dugout. Of course, Pesci catches the ball, and he turns towards second. And in the meantime, I guess he sees me going home, and he kind of throws a shot put at home, which I beat the throw by at least 6 feet.
Once guys try the 24-hour protection of Old Spice Solid, they may give up their usual antiperspirant mid-stick.
You're done? Only used twice. Very short strokes.
Fact is, none of these solid antiperspirants help stop wetness as well as Old Spice Solid. These deodorant sprays can't block odor better than Old Spice Stick. So switch now.
Sarge, for you. Hardly used.
Kind of like your comb.
Switch to 24-hour Old Spice, antiperspirant or deodorant.
Be sure to join us tomorrow. Exciting NFL action. And Sunday kicks off with the NFL 86 at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Join host Bob Costas along with teammates Ahmad Rashad, Paul McGuire, and Frank DeFord for all the latest news and scores from around the league. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 18. The Raiders, led by Marcus Allen, rumble with the Redskins in the nation's capital. The San Diego Chargers, led by quarterback Dan Fouts, invade the New Jersey Meadowlands to battle the Giants. And their tough defense, led by Lawrence Taylor. So check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Your team plays right here on NBC Sports. For Sammy Stewart, he just had to stay out there and take it he did. After Tom Seaver went 4 innings plus, facing only 2 hitters in the 5th inning, Stewart had to face 7, and 5 runs came over. And now Wade Boggs, Marty Barrett, and Bill Buckner against Rasmussen, who's allowed 1 hit. For those who have read in the paper about reports attributed to Dallas Green about playing late afternoon games in Wrigley Field, Chicago, a high overhead shot of Yankee Stadium right now would give you just a slight indication of what would happen. It is really hard to see the ball. Ground ball up the middle. You have shade, bright sun, patches of sun. There it is. Boggs is 2 for 3. The only 2 hits of Dennis Rasmussen, and that's where it puts him right up to the moment. Marty Barrett flied to left, flied to center. First ball swinging, fly ball to right center, has a chance to fall and does. Backed up by Henderson, stopping at second is Boggs.
Tell you would think a 9-run lead is safe, but the way it's looking, you know, couple base hits, somebody pops one. Here we go. Looked like either Henderson or Winfield could make the play, but she drops, and they've got base runners on first and second.
So with 2 on and nobody out, Bill Buckner, with a 6-game hitting streak coming up, grounded out and fouled out 0 for 2. Nine runs, 14 hits for the Yankees, including home runs by Pasqua and Winfield. They've had doubles by Pasqua and Easler. And he hits a little foul out of play. An explosive ball club. Of course, down 9-0. That's let's see.
It's tough to hit a home run with 8 guys on.
Wait till I look it up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two on. Barrett at first, Boggs at second, and Buckner at the plate. So the 3 Bs. Fouled away. 1 and 2. On deck, Jim Rice. And stretching a hamstring, Don Baylor. Breaking ball got away from Skinner, and the runners move up.
Now, he might have just had trouble seeing that ball because it hit him on the mitt.
Either that or crossed up because it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't that hard.
He doesn't seem to shift. He kind of reaches for it. Oh, he just played it badly.
Yep. And it is a pass ball. And I think, again, that presents some of the problems with that brilliant background of sunshine.
I can't blame it on that, Vin,
No?
because you know what's coming. I mean, you're not looking into bright sunlight.
And there's a wild pitch. So a run comes in. Boggs scores. Barrett goes to third. And it is 9-1 Yankees. That's the wildest thing this side of Barnum and Bailey.
No doubt about this being a wild pitch. You got no chance. Way out there. Breaking ball. Bounces over the glove. He did shift out there.
So Skinner goes in the crouch and wigwags out to Rasmussen. Okay, that's one for you and one for me.
Now let's start playing baseball like the big guys.
3-2 to Bill Buckner with Jim Rice on deck. And it's looped to short. Lost in the sun by Tollison. The run is in. I tell you, in this kind of lighting, it could be a circus. So Buckner is now hitting 7 straight thanks to the sun. Tollison would have caught that ball otherwise.
There's where he gives up. He just doesn't see it. He doesn't have any idea. Lands behind him, base hit. Now you got the gunners coming up. Rice, Baylor, Evans, Armas.
And down in the bullpen, Brian Fisher begins to loosen up. So you had singles by Boggs and Barrett, then a pass ball, then a wild pitch for a run, and now a single lost in the sun for another run. Fouled away. Standing at first, Bill Buckner. 99 runs batted in. Jim Rice, not counting the strike season, has really been a model of consistency. He drives one to right center field. There's nobody there. It's going to go near the wall. Buckner on his bad wheels will stop at third on a double by Rice.
Buckner, we talked about his bad legs. That's about as far as he could get. There you see him running. I mean, he just can't dig any harder than that. He's giving you all he's got. And the Red Sox second and third. And nobody out, Vin.
And Don Baylor with Dwight Evans to follow. Lou Piniella tells Joel Skinner to go out to the mound.
He wants some time is what he wants.
Buying it for Brian Fisher down in the bullpen. So Piniella sees the Yankees lead 9-0. Now it's 9-2. You'll remember the game, I'm sure. I remember a game years ago in Ebbets Field where the Cardinals led the Dodgers 9-0.
Don't bring it. We lost it.
Yep. 9-0.
Tommy Glaviano's day.
I think that's the biggest lead I have ever seen go down the tubes.
Remember, it was raining and stopped the game a couple times. Yeah, we lost it.
That was the biggest one I've seen. I know Sparky Anderson and Detroit will tell you about a game they played with the Angels, but you see a 9-0 game get away, and you've really seen something.
Well, you know, a lot of times when I know in broadcasting, they say, well, you're hyping it. You're trying to keep the audience. Baloney's Spumoni. I mean, I was in that game, 9-0.
Wait.
Yeah?
You're a hard-nosed former catcher in the big leagues.
Not so hard-nosed. I was lovable.
And you look at me and say, Baloney Spumoni?
Well, read my lips now.
Glorioski 0. High drive into deep left field. Back goes Pasqua to the wall. It is gone.
Plenty of Red Sox fans here, Vin. They're all standing in an upper deck cheering.
I didn't know they were here until just now.
That's right.
And it is 9-5 Yankees. And we'll take another look at Baylor's home run. And Dan Pasqua tried to come out of his uniform as he climbed the ladder in attempting to catch it. You know what's the real killer? If you're Dennis Rasmussen, I mean the real killer.
Wow.
Not only were you leading 9-0, you barely got through the 5th inning. You barely went the required 5 to get the win. Now he has to sweat out a victory as well as a 9-0 game.
Oh, it'll be a wholesale if he gets it.
Whew, we'll be back.
When you start something good, everyone wants a piece of it. Take light beer from Miller. Now there's lots of light beers out there saying they're less filling. Heck, that was the easy part. The hard part is brewing a light beer that tastes great. That's why Light's always brewed only with the finest ingredients. To let all that great beer taste come through for guys like you and me. The taste that's made light beer from Miller America's favorite light beer.
Hey, I always thought it was easy opening cans.
Here's news for car owners that's a shock. Sears' new heavy-duty gas shock at a special introductory price. Just $9.99 each plus installation. Save $5. You get the smooth, stable ride and higher performance of a gas shock for under $10. And Sears will install them at half off the installation charge. The new Sears heavy-duty gas shock. Another way we install confidence.
There's more for your life
at Sears.
Maybe you heard just a little crack is okay. Maybe you heard cocaine can't really hurt you. Well, you heard wrong. There's no home run on cocaine. You get me? Are you listening? Just a little bit of crack or cocaine can be addictive or even kill you. That's the real truth. The lie is, it's the other guy who's going to die.
Cocaine, the big lie. Call 1-800-662-HELP. Furnished by Major League Baseball in cooperation with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Remember when we started the game, we talked about all of the possible most valuable player award winners and many of them involved in this game. Don Baylor is now just one away from 30. He would have done that 3 times in his career. 313 home runs. You know, the other night, I went to the ballpark to see Fernando Valenzuela pitch against Bob Nepper. Nepper with 15 wins, 5 shutouts, Valenzuela, etc., etc. Final score was 14-6. It's a dreadful game. I come here, I'm going to look at the great Tom Seaver and the great Dennis Rasmussen. It's going to be a lock, right? It's going to be a great duel. Well, it's 9-5, and it's Sammy Stewart against Brian Fisher. Here's Dwight Evans and nobody out. Ball 1.
Unpredictability.
And he thumbs one behind short. Base hit.
Say, those Red Sox, that bat rack is really active. They must have it with batteries in there. Just everybody walking up. Hit it good, out of the park. Hit it badly, it drops in. Just a good hitting ball club.
It's an amazing game. In the bottom of the 5th inning, the Yankees had 6 consecutive hits. What are the odds of the Red Sox coming back with 6 consecutive hits? I'd be on the phone, too. They've done it. Boggs, Barrett, Buckner, Rice, Baylor, and now Evans.
They were calling 911, though, Vin.
Emergency. Oh, 0-1 to Tony Armas. Nine runs, 14 hits for the Yankees. 5 runs, 7 hits for the Red Sox. Standing at first, Dwight Evans. Big Tim Stoddard. And he's going to have some company now, Bob Shirley, the left-hander. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tony Armas. Ground ball up the middle. 7 straight hits. Evans stops at second. Henderson took his eye off the ball, and Evans goes to third. And still nobody out.
There's Henderson getting the ball. Now, he was watching the runner, doesn't have the ball. And that means that Evans looked like he was going to stop. Does. Sees what happens and shifts gears, and boom, he's at third base.
Mark Sullivan is due up, and Rich Gedman is going to come up and bat for him. So Sully will give way to Gedman, who will then stay in the game and catch. How about this note? Gedman has 14 home runs, including 2 grand slams, and 12 of the 14 home runs have been hit on the road. And here he comes. With first and third, nobody out. The Sox with 7 consecutive hits.
He's had some back problems, but before the game, John said he was going to give him a rest. But, hey, they got a chance now to win it. They're playing like they want to win it. Certainly, even though it was 9-0, they've come right back, and here comes Piniella.
Here it is again. Boggs single to center. Barrett single to center. A pass ball and a wild pitch for a run. Buckner single to left, scoring Barrett. Rice doubled to put runners at second and third. Baylor unloaded a 3-run home run. Evans and Armas singled, and Bob Shirley will be brought in. Don't go wandering off.
In North Carolina, Honda lawnmowers are assembled from the wheels up. Then the final critical step, the Clara Johnson test. If Clara pulls and it starts, it's a Honda.
Ship it. Feel the power, feel the heat. Kick of energy from good whole wheat. Name is Wheaties, not too sweet. Just a big bad hit of good whole wheat. Hello milk, turn it on. Wheaties keeps you keeping on. Fulfilled all out good whole wheat. Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
America rides Monroe. America rides Monroe. On the road, the way to go. America rides Monroe.
More people ride Monroe shocks and struts than any other brand. And right now, get up to $20 in rebates. Get $2 back on each Monroe Matic Plus. And $5 back on each Gas Magnum or Gas Matic. They'll give you the best ride ever, guaranteed.
On the road, the way to go. America rides Monroe.
2 out of 3 Indy drivers rely on STP oil treatment, because when it comes down to it, STP adds extra lubrication to reduce engine wear in whatever you drive.
STP is the racer's edge.
Presenting the NFL '86 team. Ahmad Rashad with interviews and features. Frank DeFord, commentary and essays. Paul McGuire with predictions and analysis. And our host, Bob Costas. NFL '86, it takes a colorful team to cover a colorful sport.
It has become baseball's version of Can You Top This? The Yankees scored 5 on 6 consecutive hits and 7 hits in the bottom of the 5th total. And the Red Sox now on the top of the 6th, 7 consecutive hits. Now, the last time it was done, it was in the American League in 1983, Detroit against Baltimore, 10 consecutive hits.
Getting a rally like that and you make it out, they release you.
Well, we'll see about Bob Shirley. He'll be pitching to Rich Gedman and then Spike Owen.
Crowd really came alive.
You know what's interesting? I had the thought, we just looked it up. You know, the last time that 10 consecutive hits, Detroit, Baltimore, Sammy Stewart was on the Baltimore team. How about that?
Deja vu.
Okay, 9-5. And here comes Gedman. The Yankees are leading, but the Red Sox miraculously are in the game. Right. Standing at first, Tony Armas. Dwight Evans at third. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bob Shirley 0-4. Jim Rice. Key double. There's a little nubber off third base, and Pagliarulo makes the first out of the inning. And that breaks the string of 7 consecutive.
He had a pretty good run for that one, and Gedman hit it right off the thumbs.
So Spike Owen, who has grounded out and lined out, coming up. Spike, you remember, in the 5th inning, hit that bullet, and Pagliarulo almost lost it in the sun, but did catch it. Now the entire infield is in shade. And there's a fly ball into left center. Pasqua going over and deep, makes the catch. Tagging up is Evans to come in. It is 9-6 Yankees. That run is charged to Fisher. Rasmussen was charged with 5. And the batter is Wade Boggs as Piniella alone with his thoughts in the dugout.
We talked about it earlier, Vin, about this Red Sox ball club. The 2 big things that they were able to withstand the charges and their ability to come back. And they're certainly showing it right here, how they can come back.
I mean, they're in the game. It's hard to believe they were down 9-0, and they've scored 6 times in the 6th. Right.
Second division club, you're down 9-0. You call in the dogs and put out the fire because the hunt's over. But these guys, no way.
Boggs grounded to short, single to right, single to center. So Fisher had to give way to Shirley, and Bob trying to restore order here. Sidearm. Ground ball to the right side to Randolph. The 3rd out. That's better than a high 5. That's a big 6. And it's 9-6 Yankees.
Chocolate is scrunches when it crunches. That's why I love that big crunch.
Milk chocolate, so creamy. Blending Krispies, so dreamy.
Is here when the Raiders battle the Redskins. Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
Your attention, please.
Next Saturday on NBC Sports, the 1986 baseball season continues. Join us as the Boston Red Sox travel north of the border to battle the Toronto Blue Jays, or the California Angels, led by Wally Joyner, host the Chicago White Sox. The action gets underway at 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time with Major League Baseball, an inside look. Check your local listings for the game in your area. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting on NBC Sports. Here's a man at work.
Shaving, he handled the bat to get the right feel. Now, it could be his bat, it could be somebody else's. Our cameraman says it's Buckner's bat. And he's getting some verification. You think it's down far enough. Good hitters do that. Musial used to really, he'd get a thin handle. It was the S2 model in those days. He'd shave it down. I'm telling you, you'd get your hands around that bat. You'd almost dig your fingernails into your hand, but that's the way he liked it.
Baylor, just to refresh your memory, came up in the 6th inning and hit a 3-run home run to drive in half of the 6th.
He's got sandpaper now, and batters use it for their bats. Some pitchers use it on baseballs.
Really?
Really?
Don Mattingly grounded out, hit into a force play and single. 1 for 3. Right. That's Tim Lawler on the mound now for the Red Sox. He's backed up in the bullpen by Steve Crawford. Mattingly has hit in 13 straight.
9-6 Yankees, bottom of the 6th. Fouled away. It's fitting that Lawler should come into the game. He's one of the better hitting pitchers, but he's in the wrong league. He's got 8 lifetime home runs. Oh, boy, did he fool him. Let's shade that handle down a little. Watch this handle be shaved.
He's bearing down on him, but you're not going to see that often. I'll tell you, completely fooled. And I'll tell you, he'll think about that more than he will any base hits that he's had.
So Dan Pasqua with a 2-run home run, singled and doubled. 3 for 3.
You can really see why those Yankees face a lot of left-hand pitching now.
0-2. 9 runs, 14 hits, 2 errors for the Yankees. They've had home runs by Pasqua with a man aboard, Winfield with 2 men aboard, and they've had doubles by Pasqua and Easler. The Red Sox, 6 runs, 8 hits, and an error. They've had a 3-run home run by Baylor and a double by Rice. Ball 4. Can it be? Yep. With everything else that has happened here, that's the first walk of the game. We did have a hit batter. Mike Easler grounded to third, grounded into a double play, and doubled. He is hitting 7 straight. Getting rich in a hurry. He had 2 grand slam home runs in 3 games this year on the 31st, not this year, 2 years ago. 31st of August and September 2nd. It was in 1984. Right. The hitman. Battle of left-handed relief pitchers, Bob Shirley and Tim Lawler. Rasmussen and Fisher are gone. Seaver and Stewart are gone. Ground ball to Buckner. He'll go down to short for 1. The return throw is late. That's the second out. 3-6 force play. The throw was almost a wild throw. And Joe Altobelli, the first base coach for the Yankees, number 48, he'll really bail out to get out of the way of it.
Well, with Buckner making the play, the pitcher's covering, and you can see it was off the bag.
Dave Winfield flied to right, struck out, and hit a rocket over the center field fence. It appeared to be about 30 feet in the air all the way over the 410-foot sign. Nine-6 Yankees in the 6th. Gedman, of course, wearing the tools now for Mark Sullivan.
They were talking in the papers here in New York the other day when Dave Winfield hit his 300th home run that there was no fuss about it. Nothing on the scoreboard. No attention drawn. He's up there now, and the big board is talking about the fact he won his 4th straight Gold Glove last year.
It's like saying Bing Crosby can dance.
Yeah, good dancer. On 1. Chopper to shortstop. Owen kicks it, recovers, throws on a bounce, and it gets by Buckner. Sliding into second was Easler. So he was in the dirt. And let's see. Lou Piniella, I think, figures it's a wild throw and that Easler should be awarded the base. Easler went sliding in on the throw to first. So Mike never saw the play.
Talking about 1 and 1 is what he's talking about. Barron says, well, he should get second base, and that's it.
No, Piniella wants the run.
Piniella wants the bonus.
Yeah, he wants him to come all the way home.
He's going to get it, too.
And McNamara saying, wait a minute, where's he going?
He's got him on the beginning of second base.
In other words, 2 bases from any place but off the rubber, and if he's into second base, he's been given the 2 bases. And McNamara saying, no, wait a minute. He was sliding. Let's see, can we see the throw to first? All right, here's Owen. He's going to kick it, recover, off balance. There's the throw. The Red Sox might also have argued that the ball might have even hit Winfield. And Spike Owen will draw 2 errors. The ball evidently, when we last saw it, because I was watching Easler sliding into second first of all, just to complicate matters, a fan might have touched the ball.
Little boy caught it.
Yeah, which of course would make the ball automatically dead. And that would be the bone of contention. They are going to send Winfield back, and they're going to make Mike Easler go back because of the fan touching the ball.
Now we got another argument.
And now Piniella's going to come out and say, wait a minute. But I think that's about what they're going to do. Rule the ball dead as soon as the fan touched it. It figured, right, on this kind of a goofy game, we'd have a decision like this. And Easler's going back, and Easler will go to third.
Piniella may end up here getting thrown out.
Yep. Wait a minute, Lou said. It's not our fault that the fan interfered. Show me that it's our fault. That's what he's saying. Now he's just listening.
And chewing.
Every umpire's judgment, and he described the umpires before he dangled a participle.
Descriptively.
George Finkel and Harry Coyle at the controls. Is there any way to see the ball? I know we're going to see Easler sliding into second. Yeah. Keep your eye on the ball now. And look over in the right-hand corner as Owen picks up the ball. Easler is going to be sliding. Now you would see that. Now let's watch the ball.
Little boy in a blue, there he is.
Right there.
In a blue jacket. He caught it. He missed one earlier, and he made a good play on that one. Now he boots the ball here, and Easler goes sliding in.
All right, there's a drive off the bat of Mike Pagliarulo, and it's into left field for a base hit. Scoring is Easler. Going to third is Winfield, and it is 10-6 Yankees. So they finally get the run home anyway. So if you're keeping score, Spike Owen charged with one error, allowing infield Winfield to get aboard, and Easler taking second. Then another error on the throw to put runners at first and third, and now the base hit for a run.
We went back to live play, so we couldn't really show you that slide. Now, there's the boot by Owen, and you'll see Easler. There he goes, beginning to slide in the background, and he's sliding into the back, and the little boy picking up the throw. Really complicated matters, but Pagliarulo solved it all with a base hit.
In a tidy 10-6 Yankee lead in the bottom of the sixth, we shall return.
Night training. It never stops for Mr. Goodwrench. Cars change. He changes. He picks from over 100 General Motors service schools to stay on the leading edge of service technology. He keeps up with fuel injection, turbocharger changes, new electronics, transaxle advances, you name it. He's trained to be good. He's trained to stay good. Mr. Goodwrench, no one knows your GM car better. No one.
In the look-alike world of financial services, one stands out. It's one of America's strongest diversified financial experts. A fortress of insurance protection for group medical care and employee benefits. A master architect of financial growth in pensions, mutual funds, and real estate investments. It's the Travelers. Have you looked under the Travelers umbrella lately?
Got a problem with the old TV? Since you usually can't trade it in, maybe you've hung on to it a little longer than you'd like. Well, right now at Curtis Mathis, your old TV is worth up to $300 in trade on selected new TVs, stereos, and VCRs, all with our extensive customer service and exclusive 4-year warranty. So, if your old TV isn't what it used to be, bring it to Curtis Mathis today, because National Trade-In Days are on now.
An American tradition continues. 1975 brought one of the most memorable moments in World Series history. Carlton Fisk's game-winning homer sent Fenway Park into a frenzy. Next Saturday, the Red Sox road to the Pennant travels through Toronto as they face the Blue Jays, plus regional action. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting.
Steve Crawford, the right-hander, the fourth Red Sox pitcher. Seaver, Stewart, Lawler, and Crawford. You know an incredible thing about the Boston bullpen? At home at Fenway Park, the Boston bullpen is undefeated. 11 wins, no losses, and 19 saves. Then a little raggedy on the road. And now here's Willie Randolph. Ball one. You have Dave Winfield at third, Mike Pagliarulo at first. 2 out. 10-6 Yankees in the sixth. Randolph flied to right, twice singled to left. 2 balls, no strikes.
There's really no telling when these two clubs get together.
Oh, it's wild. If you saw the score, you'd figure the game was played in Fenway Park.
Or a telephone booth.
And a busted bat blooper, base hit. In comes Winfield, Pagliarulo to third, 11-6 Yankees. On a broken bat blooper.
The bat almost went as far as the ball. The umpire's picking it up now at shortstop. And that ball just didn't make it to the outfield. He really snaps that bat in two. Watch this. Look at the bat, how far it goes. Live bat, dead ball.
That run is charged to Lawler. So Seaver was charged with 6. Stewart was charged with 3. Lawler's been charged with 2 to account for the 11. And here is Joel Skinner, who is 0 for 3, the only Yankee in the starting lineup without a hit. Foul back. 11 runs, 16 hits for the Yankees. 6 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for the Red Sox. Two out in the inning. Randolph at first, Pagliarulo at third. Big save there by Gedman. Boy, that's a wild pitch for another run. Then it would only make it a close 6-run lead.
The football score, 12-6.
1-1 to Joel Skinner. In there. Well, you were talking earlier about how far away he stands from the plate. He probably thought that was outside, and it looked like it was right down the middle.
It looks like he's trying to wait on the ball and trying to drive it from center field to the right field line. They're giving him a lot of room in left center field, playing him towards the line from right field.
And the drought continues for young Joel. However, the Yankees come right back with 2, and at the end of 6, 11-6 New York. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight, guess who's following the Golden Girls?
Bonnie Anderson.
Right, and she's got a couple of golden guys of her own.
I'm excited.
Easy Street premieres tonight.
You don't turn your back when a friend needs a hand. You gotta help a friend out any way you can. You don't have to ask. They're always right here where you count on each other. And Miller's gonna be here. Miller's made the American way. Born and brewed in the USA.
Miller contains no additives or preservatives. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
We made some changes that I know you are going to love.
Marty, I'll love it when I see it on paper.
Why wait for overnight delivery to make a business decision?
This won't fly, Marty, but my client will.
Fax what you need in seconds over AT&T long distance.
You gotta do more.
It's the most efficient way to send hard copy or pictures most anywhere.
Frank, now you're talking business.
You two are now one super agency.
For all the facts, call AT&T. The right choice.
This is Bernie Smilovitz. We're outside Sparky's office to get the lowdown on the big game. Hey, Sparky, best of luck to you.
Luck, Bernie. No luck. Salt, maybe a couple knocks on wood. Luck? No, there's not such a thing.
It's the Tigers and the Blue Jays, Tuesday night at 7:30 here on Channel 4.
Captain Black, America's #1 pipe tobacco, for many reasons.
Get all the latest on what's happening on and off the playing field Sunday night at 11.
The paid attendance today, 50,116. The Yankees going over the 2 million mark and over the 100 million mark in the history of the Yankees franchise. Only the Dodgers, the other baseball franchise, to have drawn over 100 million at home. One ball and no strikes. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Marty Barrett is flied to left, flied to center, single to center, and hits one in the air to right center. Coming over is Henderson. Now, if there was ever a day that the ball would fly out of his glove, today would have been the day.
Would it be today?
Yeah. Here's the schedule for the Red Sox. Home games, 14 of the 21. Toronto, 10 of their last 13 are on the road at Detroit, Boston, and New York. Ball one to Buckner. Buckner grounded to first, fouled out, single to left. So Billy Bucks is hitting 7 straight. If Buckner was ever going to tear first base out of the ground again and do it in the American League, it would have been recently in a series with Cleveland. He was at first base, and Joe Carter, the first baseman, asked him a question, and he instinctively stepped off the bag to answer. Bingo.
Got him.
Got him. Ground ball to Randolph. Juggles. Gets him.
If you're going to juggle a ball, that's the way to juggle it. He's in control of it, even though he didn't grab it cleanly. Now watch it. Up she comes.
And being the veteran he is, he also knew it's Buckner. I don't have to really hurry.
No panic.
Jim Rice grounded out, was aboard on an error, and doubled in that wild 6th inning. So Rice 1 for 3. Strike. In the bullpens, Brad Sellers for Boston, Dave Righetti for the Yankees.
Henderson is really having some problems as we look at that bullpen, looking in to see the batter. Look how he's playing out there, man.
Sideways. Yeah.
Watch, he gets down. He's having some real problems.
Yankee Stadium, where center field is the sun field. Of course, local time, too, 5:49 in the fall. And there's just a sliver of bright sunshine, and Henderson is right in the middle of it.
It was the birth of the great Yogi Berra-ism about left field. It gets late early out there.
Yeah. 3-1. 4-4. So a 2-out walk to Rice. And that will bring up Don Baylor. It was Baylor who rejuvenated the Red Sox. He had popped up and was hit by a pitch. And in the 6th inning, he hit a 3-run home run, his 29th of the year. 4-1.
He obviously was working on somebody else's bat because that was a Black Beauty bat that he was shaving, and this is the regular bat that he's been using.
Ball 2. I was thinking about Dave Righetti throwing in a bullpen in a game that saw the Yankees leading 9-0. Now leading 11-6. Fouled away.
Tell you something about the way they feel about the pitching.
Well, how about this? Righetti has saved the last 13 Yankees wins. He is 21 for 21 in save opportunities. Check swing, slow roll to the third. Pagliarulo on the run, gets him. So they leave Rice, who walked. At the end of 6.5, it's 11-6 Yankee. And now here's another edition of the 7th inning stretch.
Gatorade Thirst Quencher presents the 7th inning stretch. Gatorade is thirst aid for that deep down body thirst. This fine athlete once played college football and stood out as a kicker. Today his legs set baseball records. Identify this running redbird.
This summer, people have been drinking ice-cold Gatorade Thirst Quencher more than ever. So much more that Gatorade people have trouble keeping bottles on the shelf. But that doesn't mean there isn't any Gatorade. Because Gatorade is an instant powder, too. One canister makes 8 full quarts of ice-cold, refreshing Gatorade. And it also comes in 12-ounce cans. So if you can't find a bottle, Gatorade is thirst aid. Grab a canister or can for that deep down body thirst. Ah.
The legs belong to the St. Louis Cardinals' Vince Coleman, and they have carried him to amazing heights. Simply put, Vince Coleman was born to run. In 1983, Coleman set a professional baseball record with 145 steals in the minor leagues. Last season, he shattered a Major League rookie stolen base mark, and a future of blazing glory seems assured. Here's to the new leader of the pack, Vince Coleman, a big reason the Cardinals are the defending champions of the National League.
Well, the lights are on at Yankee Stadium in one of the wildest games we've done in a while. And it would appear now that outside of Ricky Henderson, the center fielder, everybody else sees pretty well.
It looks that way, but it could also be a game where we've seen guys lose it in the sun. The way it's going, we could maybe see a guy lose it in the moon. You think about that?
Meanwhile, we got a long way to go because we're going to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Yankees are trying to hold on to only a 5-run lead.
Only is right, too. Nothing is safe today.
Wayne Tollison, foul fouled away. Single to center, single to right again. He's 3 for 3 with a couple RBIs.
I remember the last time we came in here, Don Zimmer, who's coaching the third, said Tollison is playing so great. He's really doing the job as we look at Zim. And he said, but he'll not get any publicity because we're not in a pennant race. And then, of course, he's not one of those guys that does the spectacular things, but day in and day out, he's really doing the job.
Wayne Tollison, followed by Ricky Henderson and Don Mattingly. 1 ball and 1 strike. What a crowd and what a show. Ball 2. 50,116. And it's been a carnival. 17 runs, 24 hits, 5 errors, 3 home runs. And Tollison goes 4 for 4. And he's hitting 9.
Tell you, he's hit the ball hard. I think the one time he blooped one in there, the first time up. And then he smacked the ball pretty hard every other time. 4 for 4.
Ricky Henderson aboard on the error. That was the beginning of a rough day when Wade Boggs backed up, let the ball play him, and went on by. Then Ricky singled in the second, grounded to short in the fourth, and struck out in the fifth. He's 1 for 4. Foul into the seats off first.
It's kind of a weird swing. Looked like he started and decided not to and just kind of put the bat on the ball and hit a line drive foul.
Ricky went through a bad time here at Yankee Stadium. He was hitting around 228 at the ballpark. He's acting like he's having trouble seeing. And of course his problems with the bat adversely affected the performance of the hitter behind him, Don Mattingly. Ricky's eye problem might have been from the previous inning. Remember, staring into that setting sun. 1-1. Incredible leadoff man. Incredible player. Little pop fly back of first down the line. Marty Barrett has the only chance, and he can't get it in foul ground. Foul ball. So Wayne Tollison will come back from second base.
Marty Barrett, the only man with a chance, and it looks like he thinks he's got the play locked right here, but it seems to drift away from him and just barely foul.
I think, too, it's one of those visiting player mistakes where he knew as soon as he was crossing the foul line that he was running out of real estate, and he was extremely conscious of that, because once you get across that right field foul line, you have a tarp and then the stands.
Henderson broke his bat on that ball. He hit it off the end of the bat, and he went back to get a new one.
Seaver, Stewart, Lawler, and Crawford. Steve Crawford out there now. It's 11-6 Yankees. Bottom of the 7th. That's lifted to right field, and Dwight Evans is there. 1 out. Looking over at first base at Wayne Tollison. Last night, his last 3 plate appearances, he had a base hit, then he was hit by a pitch, and then another base hit. So he has 6 consecutive hits. Don Mattingly grounded to first, hit into a force play, single to left, and struck out. He's 1 for 4, and he's hit in 13 straight. Wade Boggs is 2 for 3 today. Boy, what production.
Oh, you talking about from the truck or on the field?
Both.
Oh, okay.
3 straight years of over 200 hits. The last Yankee to do that, Lou Gehrig. 0-1. Off speed. Flagged nicely by Barrett for 1. Oh, what a picture double play.
I'd like to see that tag at second base, though.
Marty Barrett taking a base hit away from Mattingly and turn it into a double play. We'll be back.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Ford Tempo has the unusual ability to transform your daily drive into an intriguing experience. Fuel injection, precise handling. Even Tempo's shape has the ability to help it manage the road and drive like a dream.
Honey, you're going to be late for work.
Now, get 2.9 financing or up to $600 cash back direct from Ford.
I just turned around for half a second, and boom, the whole thing went up.
Hottest day in the summer, and we end up loading that sucker twice.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you remember looking old man Donovan's face?
After that, I never thought he'd bring out that keg like
That was good draft. Oh, I remember that beer.
When you drink a new Miller Genuine Draft, it'll remind you of the best beer you ever had, because it is genuine draft. Cold filtered for real draft smoothness. Miller Genuine Draft. It's beer at its best.
How come Donovan never asked us back? Is this Howard Johnson?
Yes, sir. There's been a lot of changes. You might say we're turning the place upside down.
You know, a lot is changing at Howard Johnson. New rooms, new furnishings, and new attention to service. It's different. I like it.
1 second. I'm just straightening up.
No matter how you look at it,
This is Howard Johnson.
we're turning Howard Johnson upside down.
Tommy, Mom said we could charge Dad's birthday present with our Ace credit card, so long as it's under $5.
Well, the Ace Circular has our September best find. After a $2 rebate, this paint roller and tray set is 44 cents.
Great, but Mom does the painting.
Or 30 Ace lawn and leaf bags for just $2.66.
But Mom does the artwork.
Well, how about this firefighter kitchen fire extinguisher? It's only $3.44 after rebate.
Great! Dad tries to cook. Aces equates with the helpful hardware.
There's that play. Now watch Mr. Owens in the neighborhood. Oh, there he is, yes. Close enough to get him, though. That was a good play by Marty Barrett.
Fine play. In the 8th inning, 11-6 Yankees, Dwight Evans. Followed by Tony Armas and then Rich Gedman. Dwight struck out twice and then singled, lifting a fly ball to Winfield. 1 away. We have a moment, and amidst all the fun and games, our NBC sports crew would like to send our best wishes to Camille McEwen, the wife of Eddie McEwen, our audio engineer. God bless Camille, and get well soon. Tony Armas fouled out, struck out, and singled. He's 1 for 3. The Yankees 11 runs, 17 hits. The Red Sox 6 runs and 8 hits. Fouled away. Outside of a couple of spotlights out in center field, spotlights of sunshine, it looks like Jimmy Durante saying goodbye, while the field is in shade. Out away. Remember how Durante would walk off in the spotlight and he would say, "Good night, Mrs. Calabash."
Mrs. Calabash.
Well, there are those little spotlights, and that's it. Wherever you are.
Huh.
One. 1 away in the 8th. 11-6 Yankees, but it was 9-0 Yankees. Then it was 9-6. high fly ball into left field. Pasqua going back.
That's one of those that Red Sox fans say, that'd have been in Fenway, home run. But we're not in Fenway.
2 down, and Rich Gedman coming up.
You get balls that hit here in Yankee Stadium, they wouldn't dare throw you in Fenway. They just pitch you certain ways for certain ballparks. Every ballpark has what a pitcher and a ball club considers an outfield, where you'd like to have them hit the ball to get the outs. Here you got a lot of them.
Well, if I remember correctly, when I was a boy growing up in New York, center field here at Yankee Stadium was like, let's see, 410. It was like maybe 480.
Oh, every bit of that.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. And in the Polo Grounds, where the Eddie Grant monument was at the base of the scoreboard, that had to be 470 or so.
That was a different time zone over there.
Yeah. So.
I know we'd take batting practice in the Polo Grounds, hit in the seats, and you never get close to getting a pitch like that in the game.
Mattingly, like a vacuum cleaner, does that. And would you believe, the Red Sox are retired in order. And at the end of 7.5, 11-6 Yankees.
It started out as a party, but turned into a case of the missing case.
Groovy shindig.
It's okay, doll.
Oh, it's not. There's a case of Miller Lite missing.
Who took it? Somebody in this room. Rodney!
Hey, guys, take it easy, will you?
Why'd you do it, Rodney? 'Cause light tastes great?
Yeah. 'Cause life's less filthy.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Well, I'm not even Rodney.
You! I thought it was a costume party. Great mask, huh? But if he didn't do it, who did? They'll never figure out who took that case.
Oh, Mickey, you did.
Not exactly.
Hiya, doll.
Gotcha.
Well, I'm glad we didn't go dancing.
It's no mystery that there's only one light beer, Miller Lite.
There are lots of furnaces you can choose for your home. But for the most efficient energy, forget all but the gas furnaces. And to cut energy costs further, consider only the high-efficiency gas furnaces. Of those, only one has advanced pulse technology. The Lennox Pulse Furnace. It will make your heating more efficient.
Take it from Dave Lennox. You can save a lot of gas with a Pulse.
Attaboy, Dave!
Gas, America's best energy value.
There's a dynamic new shape on the American road. A vehicle so aerodynamic.
That it's right for this age. Ford Aerostar.
Aerostar.
You can move it in.
It's garageable.
Tune it in.
Rear stereo jacks.
Pour it on.
New V6 power.
Haul it off.
Tows up to 4,900 pounds.
Load it down.
The seats come out.
Live it up.
Looks great everywhere. Yes, Aerostar has what it takes to do it all.
Aerostar, Aerostar.
Couple of scores to duck in. Cincinnati and Big Tom Browning, the left-hander, blanked the Dodgers and Bob Welch 3-0. And Dale Murphy is indeed alive and well. He hit his 28th home run against the Giants, and Atlanta leading 4-0 in the 6th inning. Some finals: Detroit, Cleveland, and Texas. Big winners, and the Texas-Minnesota game is an eye-popper. They hit 7 home runs against Minnesota, 5 against Bert Blyleven, who has now served up 44 home runs, an American League record. And he still has almost a month to catch Robin Roberts, who gave up 46 40 years ago on his way to the Hall of Fame. Joe Sambito is not on his way to the Hall of Fame. He's just happy to be here, considering all the arm problems he had at Houston, and it's great to see him back. 12 saves, and prior to this year, he hadn't had a save in 4 years. He's the 5th Boston pitcher, and he'll be pitching to Pasqua, Easler, and Winfield. Strike. Seaver, Stewart, Lawler, Crawford, Sambito. The Yankees with Rasmussen, Fisher, and Shirley. 0-1. In case you weren't with us, the Yankees led 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 9-0, and then 9-6 then 11-6, and that's the way we stand here in the 8th inning. Right, 1-2. Meanwhile, just down the road, about 90 miles from here, the New York Mets getting ready to try and clinch their division against the Phillies.
Champagne is there. They had it ready last night.
Check swing, no swing, says Wilkie at third, and the count 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's really clinching it early, you know what?
Ironically, the pitcher for the Mets trying to clinch is the former Red Sox left-hander Bob Ojeda. Little note of irony there. 2-2. Popped in the air, back a third. Going out is Owen. Coming in is Rice. It will be togetherness. And it is Rice. And Spike Owen had to take a nasty lick running into the strong man in left field. Keep him down there a minute. Wow. So Jim Rice caught it, but that's not really important. Let's see if Owen is okay.
I think he may have caught his foot, Ben.
I don't know.
I heard his foot. Oh, yeah, they really tangled there.
And then he banged his head against that padded wall. In fact, they both did. I want to make sure that Spike didn't really injure himself. That's Sambito cradling his head in his glove. Oh. They're going to check him literally from head to toe before they let him stand up. I hope it just means he had his wind knocked out. I hope. First he hit Rice, twisted, and then they each hit the padded wall. Rice is okay.
Rice is so strong.
It could have been Rice's knee in that collision. Might have kneed him in the groin. Take another look. There's Spike, fully extended, head back. Now watch the right leg. Kind of a scissor. Now the wall.
He hits the wall pretty good. He hits that wall and down he goes. I thought it might have been his leg, but boy, he hit that wall pretty hard.
Well, they're still watching him. Rice, of course, indicating catch for the moment, not realizing that Owen could be seriously hurt. The Red Sox gathered around him along with another line of Red Sox players standing anxiously at the distance. Well, now, there they are. Everybody's kind of praying, but he's up on his feet. That's still not saying much. He's pretty groggy. Keeps nodding yes. Don Baylor finally helped him up one last time on that fly ball down in the corner. And with 50,000, no one there to help, no one to holler, to direct, and the scissor by Rice, and there is where the possible concussion for the moment.
That padded wall, we take it for granted now, but it hasn't been there that long.
Spike is due to lead off in the 9th inning, but I think they're going to take him out. Ed Romero will take over at shortstop. Yep, Spike's had enough for today.
Going right to the clubhouse.
Well, it would appear he got away cheaply enough. Thanks for that. Wow. Is this full moon time? I mean, it's been a strange day. And now, what in the heck has happened down in the left field corner? Jim Rice is up in the stands. Some clown took his hat, and Rice went right up after him.
I tell you, don't fool with Mr. Rice.
Oh.
He cleaned out a section with one swipe of the hand. And now everybody's going up there.
Can you believe this day?
Man, I'll tell you, Halloween's about a month off yet. raining. The players are out of the bullpen all over.
Well, last one, there's another scuffle. There's John McNamara right out there in the middle of it.
Umpires are there. Everybody's there.
Last time I saw players in the stands in San Francisco, Reggie Smith and Davey Lopes were up in the seats. But we got 7 or 8 men up there, including the manager.
The Bronx Zoo was the name of a book. That's it.
See what we have now. We'll crank it back, and you can just watch Rice. Now watch, see Rice's
Look at that hat. See the hat? Look at him reaching for it. And oh, he's worked it over. And look at the guy getting the cap. He's got it. He got the hat, and Rice is still down, and now they went back to get it.
Lachelle Tarver, number 55, I don't know if he even realizes it. He's holding a bat in his hand. See him?
And they're coming out of them stands in droves.
There's Oil Can Boyd, but there is a puffed up Rice. I think really what would anger you the most is the inhumanity of a fan. Here are 2 guys who almost get killed. One could have been seriously hurt. And while you're down on the ground, that's like being in an automobile accident and somebody's going to steal your watch.
That guy, he's not worried about Rice.
No.
Look at him.
Racing over to intercept is Wade Boggs to see if Spike Owens is all right. And then from there on, they went up into the seats.
I tell you, brother, if a fight breaks out, I want that man on my side.
The fan evidently does not know or has ever heard of Jim Rice.
I tell you, he must have the IQ of a geranium.
So they are taking him away to a rubber room, I would assume.
Or he would feel at home.
Oh. Well, let's face it now. It looked like a mob scene, but it wasn't. There was one fan who tried to take one hat. There's Don Baylor, who had helped Spike Owen get up. And a steamed-up Red Sox bench. But again, I repeat, there are 50,000 people here at Yankee Stadium. And at least from our vantage point, all of this involved one fan who tried to steal Jim Rice's hat.
Unfortunately now, though, Ben, they're starting to throw things from left field.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple caps just been picked up by the bat boy, a rubber ball.
That's okay, just as long as there aren't any knives.
There comes a guy off and on the field. I don't know what he's going to do. Look at here.
Now, what is he doing?
I have no idea what he's doing.
What is he trying to do now? He looked like he was trying to pull the padding off the wall.
It's starting to boil over.
Yeah.
It's true. The rate we're going, we may see a hockey game break out.
Yeah, it looks like that. The Red Sox have made 2 changes in all of this, naturally, with Spike Owen shaken up. Ed Romero is now the shortstop. Dave Henderson is in center field for Tony Armas.
See Baylor looking out to left field, telling Rice to just settle down, because he is really steaming out there. Baylor and Riniak, the coach. I don't think he's ready for the good housekeeping seal.
No. He hit a fly ball to left, he'll take a bite out of it.
He's busy picking things up. They keep throwing things up in left field.
Yeah, that's what I wonder about keeping him out there. Sambito was talking to Don Denkinger, but That kid's going to put a few miles in if this crowd really starts to get unruly. Now, Sambito has a very tough task. The idea is don't let anybody hit a ball to Rice. If there's a fly ball to Rice. So let's see Sambito. John McNamara, naturally, very anxious first about the possible injury to Spike Owen and then possible problems with his left fielder. Well, the firm of Henderson and Henderson now patrols center field. Foul back. Dave playing center field for the Red Sox. Ricky for the Yankees. And wouldn't you know, after all this mess, one out and the hitman is at the plate. Eastro has one hit, a double. He's hitting 7 straight. The double came way back in the 5th inning. Don Baylor and the rest of the Red Sox, and of course they have to play here again tomorrow. And got him. 2 down in the 8th inning, and Sambito now goes head-to-head with Winfield.
I must say the Yankees are trying to avoid all possible problems. They've lined that left field section along the line with security people. They've got about 7 or 8 of them down there. If you've got bad breath, you may be in trouble down there. Look out. There they are. They're going to try to avoid any possible problems. And that's all you can really do.
Yeah. Ground ball to third. Fielded at third by Boggs. The out at first, and Sambito did it, boys. He did not allow a ball to be hit near Jim Rice. And Jim can now get in off the field. Can't blame him. 11-6 Yankees at the end of 8.
Panasonic, the future of office automation. Advanced equipment with an extraordinary concept. The easier, the better. Panasonic offers solutions to your special computer problems. High-speed microprocessors, high-resolution monitors, and high-performance printers, which make them a very easy choice. Panasonic computers and computer peripherals, like our typewriters and copiers, the easier the better. Panasonic Office Automation.
What's this package still doing here, Blemish?
The Air Express company was closed, sir.
Hold it. If you'd used Federal Express, you wouldn't be having this problem. Come with me. Federal has more service centers open late than anyone else.
I see.
So you can drop off a package, even if you're working late.
I see.
Next time, send it Federal Express. Why fool around with anyone else?
See, Federal is open at this hour. You have no excuse. No excuse whatsoever.
Good afternoon. I'm John Hart. New accusations by the Soviet Union today against the American reporter Nicholas Danilov. Chile's dictator cracks down on American priests. Israel is accused of shipping American weapons to Iran. And a report on a wandering oil platform tonight on NBC Nightly News.
Well, after this scrimmage without pads today, a reminder tomorrow, starting 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, NFL football. And what a menu. San Diego and the Giants, Raiders, Washington, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Houston. It all begins with the NFL 86 at 12:30. And then at 4 p.m., Indianapolis and Miami, Kansas City or Seattle. We're going to the 9th. 11-6 Yankees. The game of the week has been brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Howard Johnson Hotels and Lodges. And by Miller Lite. For great taste, there's only one light beer. Dave Henderson will start it off. He is hitting in Owen's spot. And quietly in the safety of the dugout, Jim Rice. Mike Fischlin is now at second base. It gives him a chance to celebrate his 31st birthday while getting into a ball game. So 9th inning, 11-6 Yankees, and Henderson 1-1. In watching Jim Rice in pantomime showing his teammates when he got in the dugout, we had a little bit of an idea of what went on down there. When they tried to get the cap back from the fan tried to stuff the cap down into his pants. This was at least in watching Rice. Fly ball into left field. Pasqua and Ricky Henderson, and it's Ricky. One away. The executive producer of NBC Sports, Michael Weissman. Coordinating producer for NBC Baseball and today's game director, Harry Coyle. The telecast of today's game of the week, produced by George Finkel. Pre-game produced by Les Dennis. Technical director, Lenny Stucker. Counting the knockdowns, Joe Garagiola. And here's Wade Boggs. Boggs is grounded to short, single to right, single to center, grounded to second. So he's 2 for 4. Time. Debris in left field. A little light football. Ground ball to the right side. Happy birthday, Fishland. Got him.
Oh,
you
what
couldn't kick that on your birthday.
I tell you, Mattingly made a good play at first base, and Fishman, give him credit for hanging right in there.
Judas Priest, Mike, not today.
He just boots that ball. He had it, and unlike the ball that came up to Randolph, he has to stay with it. And look at this play by Mattingly. He stayed right with it.
2 down, and Marty Barrett coming up. Barrett, 3 fly balls and a single. So he's hitting 11 straight, and a base hit to right for his second hit. In this scramble today, this week's NBC Miller Lite Player of the Game is Dan Pasqua, who had a walk, a single, a double, and a home run. Miller Lite is happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Dan Pasqua to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Well, one troublesome thing about that hit by Marty Barrett, not that it brings up Bill Buckner, it puts Jim Rice out on deck, but evidently things are quiet and peaceful for the moment. I hope. We've had 17 runs, 26 hits, 5 errors, and a team in the stands. Foul ball. But again, and I'm really talking to the kids watching, there were 50,000 people at Yankee Stadium today. The incident was caused by only one fan, and that's it. High chopper, Fishland. Happy birthday. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. At the end of 8 1/2, it is finally history. The Yankees 11 runs, 17 hits, 2 errors. The Red Sox 6 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors. Rasmussen and Seaver involved in the decision. Nightly news coming up, except on the West Coast and most mountain stations where it'll be seen at its regular time. We'll follow the Red Sox to Toronto next week. Hope you'll join us. Till then, for Joe Garagiola, this is Vin Scully wishing you a very pleasant good evening from Yankee Stadium in New York.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United